Same.
There. Okay. We're back. I'm gonna kind of intro this as if it was being streamed currently, since it's going up on the VODs. We're back to the World of Healing Rifts. This is session 14, I think. That number doesn't really matter. What matters is that I check to make sure that the audio is actually recording, because I did not check for that. Okay, we're fine. So what matters is that last time there was a lot of tension because this has been a very tough time with the group kind of spread across the tower, inside the tower, outside the tower. Tower's on the conjuration. Tower is on lockdown. Conjuration tower comes out of lockdown. Fang's on lockdown. Fang's out of lockdown. Nhudrel's panicked. Trying to find Fang. Eventually does. Hicks is demanding terms for them to interact with Yuri. Yuri is under threat of being not really under threat in immediacy, but like there's obviously some intent to capture that. Councilperson Meredith, the head of the Conjuration Tower of the Crest Arcana and one of the 8 council people that are in charge of it, is getting flustered and frustrated because of these demands, because they just want to put the to give the Fey creature a tuning rod so that they can kind of divine or like a divining rod, so it can kind of point out where to fire this magical cannon channeling device up into the sky to seal the rift. That is the goal. That is what these wizards want. But it seems like some of them might also want to then keep the Fey creature afterward, which, you know, obviously makes people uncomfortable.
Who wouldn't want to?
Who wouldn't want to, right? Such a delightful person. But nonetheless, Fang, last we left off, Fang had made it out of the bathroom, had snuck out of the bathroom from the tower, crawled down the side of the outside of the tower, and managed to make their way all the way down to an apple tree that had pink apples. I can't remember the term for them.
Pink apples or something like that.
That are very sweet. Found Yuri. There was a serious emotional conversation that I did not have time this morning to look at between them. So if they've moved position, you all will have to let me know.
They haven't.
They haven't.
No, they're still in the tree.
Still in the tree. After an appropriate amount of time and Hicks sort of strong-arming them to get a list of all the relics that the Conjuration Tower had in it that were related to the Fey realm, up to which they found 6, or they collected 6 of them. That case and list was brought down to Hicks, and then Hicks sort of like meandered and made sure that they weren't being followed or specifically watched. Well, they did that, and we left off with Nhudrel in the council person's chambers, waiting for the council person with several administrators also there, sort of casually guarding them. And Stone, the tribes member alongside Fang that had previously put Fang away for a bit, discovering and screaming very loud and very angrily in the tower when they realized that Fang had escaped. And that is where we left off. And so we are gonna start, because Nhudrel's player, Jack, isn't here today. We are going to start with the tree. So Fang and Yuri are up in the tree. Hicks, you have, over a period of time that allows enough room for the conversation between Fang and Yuri to have happened, you are able to make your way kind of surreptitiously over to the tree. You do not need to roll for this. You are 100% positive that there is no one like eyeballing you from the Conjuration Tower. No one's keeping track of you outside. They are waiting. You know that there's administrators waiting inside on the first floor and kind of the offices that you've been, expecting that you will return with Yuri to meet up at the councilperson's chambers. And councilperson Meredith, that's kind of where you left off, is that they were going to go up to the chambers. They sent people down with the cataloged list and everything, and they specifically did not notice that anything was missing.
Oh, how wrong we are.
But yeah, so you're all by the tree. You got the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know he caught kind of like the tail end of Fang and Yuri's conversation in the tree.
Yeah. We decided not to like emote further, so it's literally where it is in the emotes is where Higgs is at now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he heard their conversation. I don't think he'd say anything about it right now. Kind of bigger concerns. But I don't know. He'd probably continue to go through the list and the box and just kind of like see if there's like a theme. I know they're not like big things because Yuri took all the fancy shit.
All the good stuff.
But if there was like if there was kind of like a theme of what they seem to take. There's not a
theme. There's not a theme, and in fact, there's so not a theme that we have one of my favorite things. Now, I will be adjusting some of these things, but there are 3 of you here and everything. So the number of items in there are 7. There's the music box that I already described several sessions ago that Yuri had been like, this is cool, like this is from the Fey realm, but it is a trinket. It's a bauble. It's nothing. It just magically plays music, similarly to how a regular music box would mechanically play music. It has like a little like illusionary dancing thing. But it's the kind of thing that, like, literally, if the Fey realm had a casual path to the material plane, would be just like a in the gift shop of the Fey realm theme park. It is a useless item, but what I decided to do was do my favorite thing, since we described all of these things as kind of low level, arguably meaningless trinkets. I'm gonna have each of you take turns rolling on a D100 table for me, because I found another table of things that I liked.
Oh yeah.
And everything. And so there will be some of the things from this table that I am adjusting so that they're not inherently super useful. But I'm not taking away the whole, like, the dagger that damages and instantly heals itself. I'm not trying to curtail anything that I cleverly could come up with things. I just need to there's some things on this table that are like, this is like actually a decent low level, like low to mid level magic item. I don't want any of that. So let's start with Hicks and give me a D100 roll.
92.
92. What is U92? So one of the things is a lure. It's a magical, looks like a fishing line lure. Like a little like ball with some little light feathers on it. Looks like a little feather on it. And I'm just going to say, because Yuri's there and these are all like Fey realm magical items, Yuri will have either in the moment or be able to explain them over time or identify them, or eventually Nhudrel will be able to identify them. So I'm just going to give you these things now so that you can write them down if there's something that you care about or not, and then I will post these in the chat. I'm copying them now to post them into the chat as well, Discord channel. So this magical lure is an item that allows that once a day, in any body of water that have fish in it, will find a fish and draw it back to you, and literally have the fish chase the lure out of the water and leap into whoever is the owner of the lure's hands. You then have to catch and decide to kill the fish and everything.
Oh.
It works once a day, and it can target any fish creature, anything with gills that breathes underwater.
Fang, we're gonna make sushi. You're gonna learn how to make sushi.
Sushi! No, he
Um,
said any fish creature.
Any
so
fi-
I can
anything
write
with
that
gills.
on.
But on days we don't need a
I'm saying that could be
we can make
useful,
sushi.
like later, later on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. But that's
Like,
also
what
be
if you
nice
like,
for
if there's like a
cooking.
couture or something, and you're like, come here.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I
But
also
for now,
think it'd be
sushi,
good.
yes.
Without Nhudrel's fan.
Now we need
Frogs
to
don't have
carry it.
gills. Frogs don't have gills. Man.
Oh my god, let's just throw it up at the tower and see if it catches Nhudrel.
Oh yeah!
That is when Nhudrel just falls out the window, and this is how we do it.
Just things out the window.
Amazing.
We would just like look at him as he splats on the floor, and we're like, well,
It's
I don't know what we expected.
that is
Mortals
a
die, man.
that is a
Mortals die.
fey magical modified version of the hunter's fish hook, which is specifically to catch a fish and everything like that, like hook it and bring it back. But I'm like, the Fae wouldn't have it be like violent. They'd have it be like, no, you must follow this thing and then leap out of the water to me, and then we can discuss what I want to do with this fish once I have it. 'Cause you never know.
Have a meeting with the fish.
It's the Feywild, man. Okay, next, Yuri, D100 for me, please.
D100, D100. No, I have the wrong dice. It's a flaming dice. No, 28.
28. All the way up. 28. What are you? I'll leave this as is. It's a little, I might modify it a little bit to make it a bit more fey. So a small pack of mint tablets. There are, we're going to say there's 3 of them. And on eating one, the person that eats the tablet has to do a Constitution saving throw or is gently frosted over for a 1d8 turns, rounds, we'll say minutes, just because it's fun. And so if you get someone to eat it, they'll kind of freeze and they'll be covered in frost and everything for upwards of 8 minutes. And
just
strong mental.
This is mid-battle, just like forcing food into someone's mouth. Eat it!
Just to confirm, Yuri will still need to tell everyone what these are. At the moment, they don't know.
I'm just saying what they are, just so that I can do them, and since I got to copy and paste them and modify them kind of real time anyway. On eating one, we'll go.
Hicks, what a bin! No.
Can't save. Save DC. Let's go something high.
Then my
Just
con
as-
saves a +3, so I
Yeah,
might be lucky
anyone
and
con
not
save?
be frosted over and then
No, I don't think Yuri would.
end up killing
Defrost.
Yuri. You little shit. You eat one.
When I get out of this ice, I swear to fuck.
But yeah, little fun bit. All right, Reia, next one.
35.
5. All right. Okay, this is a really powerful. Yeah, this is a great example of it's like this is just a really good item, and it's too good to fill into the lore. So instead, 35. We're gonna call this the 4-string cherry red ukulele. Yuri, you would know that it is considerably lower power than it should be here, and it wouldn't even be a ukulele. It would be a much finer instrument. Once per day, when activating this ukulele, ukulele, you can give. We're gonna say you can max out the efficacy of a given spell that involves artistry or of some sort. So whether that's visual, musical, dance, illusion, if someone turns the spell casting into an art form, they can max the efficacy. So what this is like, let's say you cast a sleep spell, you would roll your dice, you just get maximum damage. Let's say you cast an attack spell or a healing spell, it would be max dice on that thing. If someone were to cast a spell where the target would save against it, they just fail their save. You can do it once a day, and you just have to play the instrument or activate the instrument, and it's there. So it's essentially a little ukulele that if you play a little tune on, it makes essentially someone who cares about the artistic properties of casting a spell into it. So you have to kind of buy into it mechanically. This is literally a thing that's supposed to give the bard plus 15 to all of its magic ranges, and then add thunder damage to attacks, and it's like a full bard weapon, and everything. And I'm like, yeah, see, this is too good. This is too good of a magic item for this list. This is not a fish hook that finds a fish once a day. That's a very wide wide thing. So we're gonna call this the 4-string ukulele. And I'm just gonna remind myself, 4-string ukulele, uke, max effect once a day if you lean into the performative nature of magic casting. That'll be enough for me to know what that means, which is just everything is maxed out on its effect once a day, though. Still a pretty nice thing to have on you.
Yeah.
And since it's a ukulele, it's not a two-handed, because it's supposed to be a cherry red guitar. Yeah, it's wild. All right. Back to you, Yama. D100.
Did you you just confirming? Last session you said, was it 1 or 2 of the items in there are cursed? Is that still the case?
Yes, 1 or 2 of these items will be cursed, and I will have you all roll randomly on this table of 6. The music box isn't.
Got an 8.
To decide which item is cursed. That is an 8.
Hey, that's so funny. My rolls together equal 100.
There you go.
2 and 8.
Math.
Girl math.
Girl math.
All right, I'll just leave this as is. It's another instrument. I'm leaving this one as is.
Okay.
Fuser, it's a little. It's like a little hand drum. Like a little hip drum that you could easily just slap away with, and if you choose to strike the drum, all allies within a 30-foot radius of the person who is proficient in playing an instrument, I'm going to broaden it to an instrument so you don't have to just be proficient in drum specifically, gets +5 to their movement. And that's it. So it's just a little like hip drum, something that you can wear. And then if you play it a little bit, gives everybody a +5 benefit to movement. And we'll say that's for 1 minute, which will be basically for an encounter, essentially.
For how long?
1 minute.
Okay.
We'll give that a limit of uses. Let's do 2. +5 movement isn't so overpowered. And let's do 3. 3 times a day. There, done.
3 times a day.
Yeah, and
Okay.
okay. Yuri, number 5.
Is 17.
Oh.
Oh, do I do this one? Yeah, sure. Why not?
My headset died.
Yeah.
No.
What?
Oh, okay. It's just people weren't talking. Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading this one here.
Oh.
Is it yet another instrument?
If it is, swap it.
No, it's
I
not.
feel
It
bad.
is a thing, but it's not. It's not that.
It's always a thing.
It's always a thing, right? It is a like a hand interactionable item, not just like a status thing. We're gonna call it. We're gonna do this. Wand of tomato slinging. This wand was made from a bramblewood tree.
Sorry?
It fires spectral tomatoes as an action, dealing one damage, psychic damage per each hit.
How much damage? One?
One per each hit, but here's the deal.
One.
Here's the deal. I'm going to modify this. I've actually been in another campaign where I've had a tomato slingy wand. A lot of people like tomato slinging.
Oh my god, Hicks is gonna have so much fun with this. When Yuri performs and he gets irritated, he's just gonna fling a tomato at him.
So we're gonna say that the wand sort of works like a typical charge magic item, where it has a number of charges of it daily. I'm gonna say that it has 10. It has. We're gonna change it for this, and it has 10 tomato charges in it, and refresh daily. So essentially, if you choose to use the wand, you decide how many charges you expel in it, and they almost act like a once a day magic missile. So you can use 1 charge, 2 charge, what have you, up to 10 charges. Once you use it, if you deplete the wand to 0, you have to roll a what would it be? Charisma saving throw, since it's the Fey realm. If you get a 5 or below on that charisma saving throw, the wand breaks. But that's only if you bring it down to 0. Charisma saving throw, 5 or below, and wand breaks. But yeah, so you can choose to use it as many times as you want within a day, up to the amount of charges that it has. You can break those charges up. Unlike Magic Missile, you can't split them. Your wand targets the same thing, but you can target something and do, I guess, upward of 10 psychic damage to it, and then a charisma save to make sure your wand breaks, or 9 psychic damage, and then you just have 1 tomato in it. And you don't have to worry about your wand breaking. And that's so you tomato wand. And then and it recharges on a long rest. So it's just basically a quick little 1d10. It does not scale. It has value to it. You could, of course, sell it, and everything like that.
No. When Yuri performs and he's annoying me, I'm going to shoot tomatoes at him. I'm not selling that.
That's if Yuri tells you what it do.
When Yuri starts, I don't know, singing at 2 a.m. when Hicks is finally going to meditate, Hicks is just gonna
yeah,
that's he is gonna tell us though.
That's the thing. Tomato flinger is the cursed item.
Well, we'll find out on that one.
This is recorded. I can't say that.
And finally, Reia, last D100 roll for the 6 magic item.
45.
45. Nope, already got something like that. Reroll, please.
Rolling. 29.
That's bad. Hopefully. All right, this is weird. It's an old geomancer's glyph that allows the user to know how deep they are underground and grants them proficiency in identifying different types of stone or earth around them. However, if the user has disadvantage on perception checks made in the sunlight if they have the glyph on them.
Oh, I'm going to need that all again.
So essentially,
my
you
brain
can tell
was like,
rocks well. You can look at rocks.
Essentially, you're good
identify
at
rocks.
you know how deep you are underground. You have a better perception underground in general. You're good at identifying rocks, but if you're above ground, you have disadvantage of perception if you are or if you have the glyph on you.
I feel like that'd be a good one.
Interesting.
It's a good one to sell. It's also
So
a
by
good
rocks,
like
are we like just going like the layman's terms
Mineral,
of rocks,
yeah,
as in like
all-
basalt and quartzite, or are we going
all
including
minerals.
rocks, including like gems? And
Yeah,
shit?
I'm gonna expand it to all minerals. So everything from I'm just gonna be like, is it a ground thing? Then you have better identifying. So if you need to know if soil is loose or particularly more compact, if it's rockier there, if it's a type of precious gem, if it's a type of stone, pretty much everything. This would be great for a dwarf to have that was mining. It would be amazing for that to have. Doesn't have as many uses, and more importantly, if you slip it onto someone, they have disadvantage in perception checks if they're not below ground. So
we can make a plan with
so
that.
it's a fun thing like that. Now, Yuri, give me a d6 roll, please, and we're going to find out which of these items is cursed.
I'm gonna be upset if it's the tomato one.
1.
It's the fish lure one. The fish lure.
no!
The fish lure is cursed. It is cursed.
Can you
Cursed
uncurse the fish lure?
Fish lure.
I think that's great. I already have an idea of why Yuri thinks it's cursed. That's great.
It is a cursed fish lure. You don't exactly know what the curse does, but knowing how curses work in the Feywild, Yuri, you can see that the item is cursed, and you can see that it's probably only cursed if you activate it, like if you make use of it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a particularly high level curse. But I would say, knowing the Feywild, if it's cursed, the way the curse works is going to be cute. It's going to be something clever and fun and smirking instead of necessarily like higher level magic items. The Feywild gets serious about those, but lower level magic items, it's very pranky when you get to the kind of curse thing. Yeah, because Feywild, right? And so that is it. Those are the 6 items. They are all listed. You do know you do get. I think Hicks would get like a variation or like some concept of some of these things, but not really what they do. Because they're all just labeled. So like the fish lure is labeled fish lure, but that's all. It doesn't have greater information about it. So you don't really know what the magical effects are of a lot of these things because they didn't know how to like they didn't know how dangerous they were, and they were careful enough wizards to just be like, we're just going to put this away, and then when we have time to catalog and test these things, we will catalog and test it with some intern that if they die, they die.
Okay. Cattle fodder.
But nonetheless, so those are the cataloged items. I will post those items when I have a moment to edit them down. I've got them in my Discord now. I just got to make a couple minimal changes to it, but they're in my secret DM notes of the channel. So that if you forget about any of these things or anything, they'll be in there, and then you can put them on your characters or have them. But nonetheless, all right, back of the tree. So all those items, nothing super high level, and then the music box literally just plays music magically. That's all it does.
I mean, is Hicks gonna even get our attention?
Well, you're busy talking, so he's like eavesdropping while he's going through this, but he's not like interrupting you guys. So, but if you like finished your chat,
the issue is though, Han, like Yuri's literally like druidcraft the whole tree. He won't see you from the outside. Like they would just keep going. That's the issue. Like I'm saying, it might be worth interrupting because
would Fang hear the screech through the druidcraft?
I don't know because there's music playing as well, isn't there?
Throw a perception check down. If it's particularly high, then we can say that.
You'd probably be able to smell Hicks, though.
Yeah, you'd be able to smell Hicks.
The man smells like water.
my clear water scent.
His fresh spring smell.
Oh my god, you're literally water-based lube.
Oh!
How dare you? No, that doesn't even smell nice.
But you wanted a watery smell.
Oh, okay. No, that's not the same type of smell.
I don't like the.
How dare you? That's the wrong water.
No, he's literally like
It's
a
the
fresh
other form
spring,
of water
like
smell.
a fresh spring, like
That's
mountain
very
water.
different than going, I smell like water. Because if you just smell like water, you smell.
Okay, well, next time I'll just make sure that I describe the fucking river and everything in it.
Yeah, do that. You fishy bitch.
There's not fish though, because it's river mountain.
Oh, it's a fishless water, is it? Is there no mud either?
Yes. No, there's little pebbles at the bottom.
Oh, disgusting.
Nonetheless, what did you get perception-wise, Fang?
9.
9. All right. We'll say that eventually, into your conversation, almost diegetically with kind of what you've already described, into your conversation, Hicks, you definitely overhear sections of their conversation and everything. It's going a little bit at this point. Hicks, you're aware that they're not aware that you're under the tree. And you haven't heard anything from Nhudrel. And I'm going to say at this point, Hicks, is when even from a few hundred feet away from the the 8th floor, 6th floor, whatever floor of the tower it is, you hear just the furious scream of Stone. You don't necessarily know that it's Stone screaming, but a scream in anger come from the tower, which had not previously. The tower had been scream free, and it doesn't sound like a scream of pain. It sounds like a raw scream of frustration.
Wait, who heard it?
Hicks would definitely have heard it. Because you are playing music and it's several hundred feet, but obviously something's going down in the tower. You haven't heard from Nhudrel, and you can overhear their conversation and recognize, Hicks, that they haven't noticed you. So you're going to have to get their attention if you want them to pay attention to the world around them, Hicks.
Wait.
Well, do they want to finish their talk, or must he interrupt them? Because if they like talking and being all like emotional and stuff, he's just gonna kind of like
I'm gonna sniff check for Hicks.
carry on doing his going through the box type
check.
of thing, and then when he's done going through the items, then he'd be like, okay, hello.
Is 16 enough to smell the water smell?
I think you would, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Let's see. I think she's a little enamored with the visuals before her, but then the waterman smell and perks up and turns, sees Hicks. And like she quickly like fixes her face, I guess, because like she's been just crying on and off.
Oh, baby.
Like wiping her eyes and then slaps her cheeks really hard once, and then it smiles and gives him a wave.
Oh,
Just gonna-
is someone there?
Yes, Hicks has approached.
Approached.
Are you fine with heading down, Fang? I know that was quite a lot.
Yes, but
Okay.
I would like to speak more about what you have told me.
Of
When-
course.
When we can.
In case we go back to the tower, just if you feel able, just try and stay with us, and I will keep an eye out for you. I don't think it would be wise for any of us to remain trapped in that tower.
I agree.
And smile and nod and hop out the tree. What's your name? Hicks. You would notice Yuri is green still, but his eyes have gone complete hazel, and like the flowers on his hair seem to be dying.
Oh. He'd kind of look at them both, and obviously because he's kind of heard the conversation, and I'm assuming the sniffles of them both, he's gonna have known like whatever the hell they were talking about prior to him hearing the last part was something.
Did I lose everyone? I think I might have lost everyone.
To like come and look at the shit in the chest.
Oh, what a lovely chest, Hicks.
Sorry.
Why are we looking at a chest?
If you're not interested, you don't have to look. But
No,
these are
I'm
just some
asking a
of the
genuine
other.
question, my dear.
These are some of the other Fey items that
Oh,
I said if they brought to me, I would consider
okay.
letting them meet you. Of course,
Do you want me to
it's
have a
only
look?
consider. Go ahead.
Okay. And he'd just start rummaging through. He'd he'd first take out the fishing hook and he'd go, oh, now, Fang, if I can get this thing, if I can remove the curse, this would be great for you, Fang. You can get some of the freshest fish possible. But the issue is, it's if you use that in a Feywild fishing competition, you will be turned into a fish for up to about a year. And I think it's been used to cheat. So, right, okay. You're just gonna pop that into his satchel. Okay, next one. Oh, he just look at the wand. He just kind of like raise an eyebrow. He would hold the wand, like keeping it to himself still. And he'd kind of raise an eyebrow and go, "For some reason, the mortals here are collecting toys, like children's toys. I don't know why they'd want this. Um, this is very, this is I could probably make this. However, Fang, it's not going to do much. But do you have any ranged capabilities?
I can throw rock very well.
Okay, that's good. But sometimes rocks aren't available. Also, that can be quite fatal. And he would present almost like doing it in both hands, like it's like like it very much, and presents Fang the wand. Fang, I would like to give you your first one.
A wand.
It's
My thanks.
Fang's like, I can do magic!
Now, with this power invested by the Feywild, you can. He kind of like not grimace, but he's even aware this is stupid. You can summon tomatoes. Unfortunately, you can't actually eat those tomatoes.
So it's schlumps. It's like, oh.
But you can humorously slap them in people's faces, and especially if it's something in the sky that you can't reach, you might be able to knock them onto the ground with it.
Hicks is just there with like an eyebrow semi-raised, like, what the fuck?
He's gonna look to Hex and be like, Hex, it's a kid's toy. I don't know what to tell you. It's a kid's toy, but we can make use of it.
I was just confused because she's like, this is wasting food, but I can't. But it's not a tomato you can eat, so it's
not real. Like, it's like my illusions, Fang. But with a bit of punch. With a bit of a punch.
Punching illusion tomato.
Exactly. And besides, you'll have some magic of your own.
I can do magic.
You can. More than you realize. Shit, what's the next item? Ukulele. He'd pick up the ukulele, he'd look it up and down. Would I, not like anyone important, but would I recognize this ukulele? Am I like, oh my god, this was, so-and-so? Because I'm imagining I hung up with a lot of the Fey bards.
You believe that you would recognize it if it was in its original form. You can tell that it has been diminished. When I say that this was previously a red cherry guitar, right, like a 6-string guitar, and is now currently a little 4-string ukulele, if you brought this back to the Fey realm, you'd be like, oh, and it becomes the guitar again, and then you'd be like, oh, I know who made this. But right now it looks like it's been diminished with time. But you do know that there's several Fey that could have made this.
Would Yurevil be able, and because when I sleep, I can change my proficiencies and tools, so I don't mind waiting till I sleep to use like different tool set. But would I be able to take off the strings and apply them to my harp?
Yes, yeah, I love that for you because then it's consistent with your weapon, but you get the benefit of that. I love that energy. Yes, Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Next long rest, you can give this effect to your harm.
Okay, yeah, Yuri will just, he would just actually like there and then he won't put it into his heart, but he will just quickly take off the strings and then just quietly wrap the strings around his wrist for the time being.
Yeah.
And then he'll just like pop the ukulele back in the trunk, like whoop. What else was there?
Okay,
What
so
am I missing?
you did the tomato wand.
Yeah.
You did the obviously the uke, the fish lure. Did you take a glance at the drum, the little like hand drum?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah.
The drum and the pack of minstrel.
And drum and
Okay.
mint. Yeah.
And the glyph.
He'll take out the mints first and look at it hesitantly. Okay, Hicks, I think you'll like this. Oh, well, I think you'll find use in it. Sorry, pardon my wording. Yeah, Hicks, if you can convince someone to bite into this, it will basically freeze them over for a period of time. And he would offer him the pack of gum.
What it's like to chew
Gonna-
5 gum.
he'll take it, but he's also kind of looking at it like, what the fuck? Okay, kind of look like, okay, sure.
Think of it similar to an enchanted poison, but instead of poison, it's pyromancy.
Maybe we can use it on the wizards. That would be funny.
You could.
He's not actually being serious. It's his attempt at sarcasm, but carry on.
But Jerry
Fang
pauses,
laughs.
and then he's like, "I made a joke." Like he doesn't say it out loud, but he's like, "He's crying out."
Oh god! Panic fingers! Panic fingers!
He'd then look to the drum, and then he would take the drum and go, "Fang, I actually think this would be best suited for you." The drum, you could say it inspires the hearts of those around them to come to your aid post haste, let's say. You just need to play the melody that matches your heart on the drum when you feel it's important that people move quickly or get to you quickly or get away quickly, and you play the drum. And he'd offer the drum over with a little strap for her to like put on her waist.
Doesn't the person who plays the drum have to be proficient in the drum for it to happen, for it to work?
So it says that you have to be proficient in the instrument. I will let it be a roleplay thing that if Fang just figures out how to play a drum. It's a drum.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not very complicated to go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. And so we will just say that after a long rest, this will be a thing that you can use, Fang.
Fang, you're getting drumming lessons tonight with Yuri. We've got book writing and drumming lessons.
It's a hand drum. It's the easiest thing in the world. I love that they're like, you're not proficient in drum, and I'm like, if it was like a 7-piece kit, yeah. Unless someone's like, oh, it's a snare drum, and you're like a marching battle, like fucking I can't remember the title for them, but you have to do the rat-a-tats on a snare drum, then yeah, obviously that takes some skill. But like every drum in D&D is like essentially a bongo or conga or something like that. And I'm like, you slap it. Like you could get better at slapping it, I suppose. But you slap
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, I think with like I would probably just treat it as like if you were using it in a performance, you just wouldn't get the modifier.
Exactly. It's mostly the magic item, and it's a fun little drum. And in Fang, in your hand, it is literally like what I would imagine. In you, it's very strange. In your hand, it's literally about the size of like a wide coffee mug. So you're gonna learn how to finger tap on this drum. Because you're so large. It's such a small. It's supposed to be such like a belt accessory of a drum. That for you'll end up doing like knuckle taps on it, which is really fun and allows you to easily do it. And then the last thing is a little stone, a little like underground stone, which probably none of you wants to be holding directly because right now it'll give you disadvantage on perception.
Yuri would just kind of stare at it and be like, don't touch that. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm not quite sure we're doing with it in the Feywild, but I'm sure it was probably to annoy someone. It will make you good at evaluating rocks, but it will also make you quite useless above ground. I mean,
surely if they wrap it in something, it's not like
yeah.
activated.
Yeah, if you specifically wrap it in something to prevent it from like touching any part, like it needs a couple layers of cloth to prevent it from being there.
Yeah.
Because if you were to literally just put this in a pocket, but not be touching it with your hands, it would still go into effect. It needs a little bit of protection beyond that. But yeah, you can wrap it in something and have it, and then possibly, sell it to a dwarf that's got a mine or something. Yuri, you think that this was probably someone made this possibly for someone from the elemental realm, or that they got it as a gift from someone from the elemental realm?
Oh my god, it was a really bad Christmas gift.
It very much feels like a fruitcake or like a fucking pharmacy candlestick discount
Do you know
item.
what this is? All these items they're getting, it's actually, we just have a plainer dustbin. And this is where it all ends up, is just outside
It's
this
a
tower.
midden.
It just
It's a Fey midden.
Yeah, and they're like, why are all these artifacts? But yeah, you're feeling like if you want it, I mean, if anyone is probably the best person to have a look at it at least is Nhudrel can study the designs and potentially can learn some information about primordial magic.
Exactly.
He does
I don't.
love to study.
He does, he really does. Hicks,
Gonna look at Yuri.
I don't mean to be ungrateful, and I'm not saying this is your fault, but I believe the mortals here might be being slightly short-sighted. I fail to understand why the Unseelie Queen would be focusing on finding something that she could easily get in her own plane.
I do not think the Unseelie Queen is here for these trinkets that they have stored in their tower.
No.
She must be here for something else. But we just don't know what it is yet.
No, and I can't fathom what it would be.
Am I hearing this?
Yeah, she's right there.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming so, yeah.
She has this perturbed look on her face. Who?
Oh,
Oh shit, yeah, she doesn't fucking know who it is, eh? Here we go.
It's like,
Okay,
what are we doing?
let's sit you down.
Right,
Mommy, Yuri, and Daddy Higgs are gonna give you a
this
lesson.
This is actually going to be my next emote, Reia, but we didn't get. Right. Hang on, there's something I've not explained really. Right.
Mm.
And if I can ask, this does somewhat stay between us 4 or 3 at the moment.
Mm.
That's not a storm. That's not a weather event. You just kind of wait for a moment.
She's staring at the storm.
Mhm.
And she's like, her eyes are like squinting and brows furrowing. It's like, looks like storm, but not storm. Like stone was room, but not room. Like tomato was tomato, but not tomato. She's going through all the things in her head that were she was told, this is this, but it's not this.
Fang's suddenly going, you know what? I fucking hate magic. I don't want to get involved. It's too complicated.
this is so complicated. Just give me a fish. just make a fish hop into my arms.
Like slowly nodding, and then she looks back to Yuri. She's like, okay.
Do you remember how I said in ancient times in my home had 2 queens? Well, the second queen, who is my queen, the Seelie Queen, she had a sister. And ancient times ago, she was a good queen. She was queen of the fairy, prince, whatever she was before the Lord of the Rings, because it's been kind of. But she was cursed by the ancient dwarves. Bad magic. And she was turned into the Queen of Air and Darkness. practically a goddess of air and darkness and evil and trickery. And she appears as a crystal, because that's what she was basically turned into, surrounded by a horrific storm. If you may remember, the unseelie people are the ones who are hunting me. And then they just point to the storm. That's the queen trying to get through portal.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, we think that's the queen's avatar, maybe, but not necessarily her. But the point still stands.
It's not so much, she doesn't really have an avatar, it's more the air surrounding the queen extends out, and that's extending through the portal. It's an extended part of her.
Like a reach.
Yeah. Yes,
Finger.
thank you, Jesus. Yes, what he said. Points to the camera.
Thanks, fourth wall. Excellent. Back to the.
But yes, it's like an yes. That's actually something I wanted to mention to you, Fang, in our conversation. Is my family and who I told you want to meet, they're potentially in trouble.
Oh.
I found my father's artifact here. Basically, they've stolen from my home.
Who has stolen?
Well, I don't know who retrieved the item, but it was here when it should have been in my home. So
Person stealing.
the fact that the unseelie queen is here potentially means war or something has broken out at home. But yeah, so that's a goddess. I am not equipped to deal with it. They didn't train this. Well, I didn't really. Well, I did try. Yeah, no, this wasn't in my training. No, I don't know how to handle this.
Hicks, do you have training in dealing with
Three goddesses.
Yeah, sure. Let me just roll up my sleeve. Yeah, I got this way.
He speaks very well, so she's like, he can talk us out of this.
He can
Oh my God,
talk us out.
please, please
With
don't.
his great words.
Imagine Hicks rolling like a crit 20 on just telling the Sealy Queen, no, go back home. And she's like,
that's gonna be one of the things when you roll a crit 20, you smile hopefully, and then you still just get smited in the face.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're like, yeah, that's not gonna work. But I think our best bet is, if we can find out what these people are hiding, is either destroying it, or you'd think they'd be smart enough to do this in the first place, but if they used an anti-magic field or something of the like, if they suppress the actual aura of the item itself, it would likely stop reaching.
So we tell them they're dumb. And they need to hide thing better with thing.
The issue is, if we tell them they're dumb.
Hicks already told them something was up at the store last time, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me go look what he said. I can't remember.
The issue is as well, Fang, is, as I've said, they want to lock me in the tower and keep me there.
No.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
Not happening. No.
No. Neither of us are getting locked in that tower. And I think our best bet is to wait for Nhudrel here, or at least keep an eye out for the door, because I think we have to play this carefully. Because unless I somehow could ask my family for advice, which I don't know how to do, we are stuck.
Your family in trouble.
They are.
Tower
Yes.
bad. Tower prison. Prison? Wow, that's a big word for Fang.
She should have heard it. She would have heard it in Southgate and stuff.
That's true. Prison, jail, prison. How do we get Nhudrel out? Quick, faster.
I think we can't rush Nhudrel. I think we might have to wait. I think Nhudrel needs to talk to them. And when Nhudrel will want to check to see if at least anyone, if you're okay, Fang. So I think we have to trust in Nhudrel. And, if we're not returning, they're soon going to ask why. And they will likely send him to find us.
I will try to call him with secret whistle.
You have a secret whistle?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They have like this non-verbal call, or actually she does to him because I don't think he knows how to do it. But she does a bird call, essentially.
I just love the idea every time Nuge was like, "Oh, bird's back! What the fuck?"
But it's a matter of whether he can hear it or not. So I don't know what you want me to roll to see it.
So I'm gonna have you roll a. We'll go with a performance. Yeah, this is gonna be a performance. There's no way around it. Performance roll, and this is gonna.
I can use minor illusion to make it. I can amplify it with minor illusion.
All right, give it with advantage then.
Okay.
And that'll set the tone for how high I have to roll as Nhudrel's perception if they're able to hear it.
14.
14,
I'm a
all right.
13 and a 14.
All right, 14. Okay, so now we do perception. That's a 19.
Well, just quickly, while
Ooh.
she's whistling, Yuri would just go to Hicks and just whisper quietly. He wouldn't disclose much, but he would just be like, he would just explain to Hicks that they've also locked Fang in the tower. Just in a quiet, just like, they locked them in the tower. I don't know why, but they try to lock and keep Fang there too.
Just kind
Just
of
so
like give
Hicks
that like
in the
curt
loop.
nod that he acknowledges what Yuri said.
It was louder than it normally would be, Fang.
Oh.
And so you know that Yuri's enhancement worked to louden it. And for a few beats, you're not sure if Nhudrel heard you, but since Nhudrel has message. Fang, are you all right?
Fucking hell. Oh, sorry.
Fang,
Nhudrel.
Fang. Yes.
I made it outside. I am with Yuri and Hicks. We are good. The pink apples are great. Wait.
Pink apples are great.
We need you to come to us now too.
Is Fang obviously using message?
Yeah, Fang's not bothered because there's only people that Fang trusts around. So Fang would just, so you can just see Fang's lips moving as they whisper.
Oh, Fang, are you messaging him? Could you tell him to like get any information he can before he comes down? Really helpful.
Message from Yuri. Get more information before coming down here.
Hicks is also going to be like, and tell them that I'm not bringing Yuri to them.
And we are not bringing Yuri to him.
Okay. So
Them.
Nhudrel, responds appropriately verbally to keep the messages going, and everything. And so gets the information. Fang's outside. You have some information that you want, which I assume is you relaying the sort of like general list of questions. Or some intent of that, and that Yuri is not going to make an appearance.
Not inside the tower, definitely.
Not inside the tower.
To be fair, Hicks said from the get-go that he's not going to bring Yuri to them.
Yeah.
He's literally just like, give me a catalog list, but I'm not bringing Yuri to you. That's kind of basically what he said.
Yeah, as we kind of said in the lift, like maybe just like mention that stuff last.
I'm not going to run through the RP of this.
No, that's fine. That's what
this is all happening off thing. I am going to have you all roll because you're players, and it's fun to have you roll the d20s that decide things. So I need some rolls. The first thing I need is I'm going to have. Let's go with Yama. Can you please roll me a d20 and add 4 to it?
Oh god.
Oh,
8.
Fang is
Wow.
going to convey to
Wow.
Nhudrel that
8 in total.
Okay. Now, Yuri, Sammy, will you please roll me a d20 and subtract 1 from it?
I mean, okay. Oh, for fuck's sake, that's a
Oh,
15 on my
get
screen.
fucked.
Well, that's a 4 too.
Oh,
And mine was 8, excuse me.
You rolled a
So plus
4.
4.
Get
Yeah, but I
over
plus
yourself.
4. But I added 4.
Yeah,
So I
well,
got an
I
8.
didn't.
And you got a -1, so you got 4.
So it's a 4. So it's an 8 and a 4. All right. And Fang, would you please roll me a d20 and do a -1 to that as well?
oh,
And I'm
Oh
gonna roll.
god, this is his charisma checks, isn't it? Well,
No, but why
can
would
I
you have a
pray for
minus
that?
-1 for charisma?
No, this is Neutral's charisma.
Mhm.
Look.
So that was me rolling for something, and then
Neutral.
Well, so we got nothing out of the first questions. Got it.
We got nothing out
Okay.
of all of the questions.
Fang
Oh.
got an 11. So a 4, or sorry, an 8, a 4, and an 11, and then another 11. Okay. I need. So that's all happening. While that's happening, I would love for all 3 of you to roll a perception check with advantage. All of you roll it with advantage.
come on, Sniffer.
Oh wow, I did shit.
Oh, 20.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, no.
go on,
I mean,
Fang.
mine wasn't amazing, but it wasn't shit.
It's okay, Fang got an act 20.
Oh, good.
Perfect. Fang, you smell it, see it, whatever, with your nat 20. Stone is coming out of the main entrance, flanked
Oh,
by
shit.
several people.
Oh, shit.
Fang like heads is up immediately, and her ears kind of like flop down, and she like ends up dropping to one knee and bowing her head down.
you
They
do?
are several hundred feet away at this point.
I'm going to use
I
minor illusion to shroud us with mist.
okay.
Hicks was looking at Fang like, and is literally just gonna be like, "What are you doing?" Because I don't think he's seen Stone yet.
My elder cousin is approaching, and I had left her in the tower against her instruction. She says a little shakily.
Is she not the one who locked you away?
Yes, for
Then
my,
get up off your knees. You don't owe her that.
but it is our culture to keep everyone safe. And she said to keep me safe, she locked me away. And she's still kind of like
locked you-
processing it.
She locked you in a tower where there's an
Hicks.
ongoing storm, possibly an unsilly queen coming to do who knows what to the tower. That is not love.
What is love? Sorry.
Fang, what Hicks means to say is, you said yourself, there is no good of either of us being locked in that tower. And right now, you know, we want you by our side, and we could really use your help. If you go back in that room, there is no opportunity to help anyone. You have to make the choice yourself, and it's more than fine to do so. But as much as culture states, you know, as much as they may say they want you in a room, you know in your heart if you really need to be in that room right now.
What do we do now?
Well, right now you're currently being obfuscated by a minor illusion, and it's obvious that at a distance, at least, currently it seems to be working in the way that Stone has then turned, looked at the tree, and started marching directly at it. But they are looking around.
Yeah, because it's rainy and stormy, right?
It's very gray and cold out here. The actual rain itself isn't touching you. It's beating against the dome, but it is creating a fair amount of sound too. So it's actually it's like you're just inside of like a canopy, and there's rain all around you, but it's not currently on you. But it is quite loud in comparison to just a clear day. So they haven't seen you, Yuri. You clocked that they haven't seen you. And as does Hicks and Fang. Anyone that's looking, it's pretty clear. The 6 people. No need to roll further perception on that because you all got above a 10. The 6 administrators are not the I work at the clerk's office and haven't gone to the gym in 2 years. They are absolutely like capable.
Did they follow Stone up the tower?
Yeah, those 6 are with Stone, and they are beginning to fan out to search, and you can hear in the noise, Fang, where did you go? I hope you didn't go out. I hope you didn't go out into the storm. Coming from Stone, you can hear her shouting out, Fang. Looking. Currently, you're a little bit obfuscated. No stealth roll needed, but it is. They are beginning to search. So you're going to need to, as a group, decide if you want to hide. You'd like do a little bit more magic about it. See if you can just hide and be real quiet and stealth it away. What have you?
I mean, if I can get us all back into the tree, I can Druidcraft the leaves to be much thicker to try and obscure view, but I don't know what else. Hicks, you're better at like this than me.
I can always go speak to them. Maybe they'll tell us where Nhudrel is.
He is good with words, yes.
Do you want us to try and get further away? Or to stay in the tree?
Every direction that's further away is closer to another tower at this point. That doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. I'm just letting you know from the makeup, since we're theater of the minding.
Yeah. What if they kind of like the way because obviously the way we came in. What if they went back that way? I know it's like octagonal in shape, but
that would be going out into the storm and then the lightning and the stuff.
Yeah, but not go like out into the absolute chaos, but possibly I don't know.
There's not a good like hiding spot out. Like right now, you're in probably the best hiding spot in the area that is still outside of the storm. You could, in theory, try and sneak off and go toward another tower. And then if you're on the other side of a tower, you're fully blocked. Like, they can't see you. There's a whole building in the way and everything like that. And at this point, you may be able to sneak off and go in the direction of any of the other towers. And there might be trees or other, like manicured features that you could tuck behind and hide. That are a bit farther away that would still keep you out of the storm, or you could go out into the storm again.
Because the towers have aesthetics, what is the aesthetics of the 2 nearest towers either side? Like,
So the 2 nearest tower near side, and you're easily able to catch this as a magic user yourself, Yuri. So this is the Conjuration Tower. The tower to the tower to the right of it, if you were just staring directly at the Conjuration Tower, kind of nearest to the right of it, is the tower that, it's weird. It's not a decrepit space, but goddamn if it doesn't give big mausoleum vibes. And so that's your Necromancy Tower. And then the tower to the left of it, you can see amongst the stone little tendrils of like water kind of trickle through the stone, and then like a little like stream of flame, and then maybe some like electrical crackling, and so that's the evocation one. So necromancy on the right, evocation on the left.
I mean, I weirdly think, you guys feel free to give opinions. I weirdly think the necromancy tower is going to be safer because obviously this is like a controlled environment, and if anyone's going to understand the risks of just going gun ho, it would be the necromancy people. Like, I feel like if they're publicly practicing necromancy, they've got to be very controlled people. Whereas evocation is famously fireballs.
Fireball, bitch! Ray of Frost. Let's
Fireball.
do this.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Ice Storm or whatever it is.
We're going to go to the necromancy tower. If you want to distract them, that's up to you. But just be safe.
Just gonna give
But
like a curt nod.
I think the conjuration tower is the tower with the power that's most likely to be able to hold me due to conjuration magic. I think we need to talk to at least other towers to understand really what's going on, because others might be able to see a reason why they failed here. There must have been a reason assassin was sent to that tower and not the others.
Wait, does Yuri know it was an assassin? Higgs told him, hey. Did he? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Yuri
you
was
did.
around.
Because you were like, I fucked off the queen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you had a nice conversation about it.
Yeah.
And Yuri was like, oh, yeah, do you maybe wanted me to help with that? And you're like, you can't help. Yeah. How the conversation went.
Exactly.
Oh,
Tonally.
we never know.
Everything.
There might be more assassins at the other towers. But
There may
that's
be.
not the point. You and
Okay.
Fang go along. I will speak to these people, these mortals. See if I can find Nhudrel. If he has any more information, he can relay it to you via message, and we will go from there.
Hicks,
Just gonna
you
look at
relay
Yuri like,
one
yes.
message to them, please. Make
What
them
is it?
aware if they. But Yuri was going to be like, can you kindly make them aware? But Yuri's like, okay, I'm not going to say that's not going to end up anywhere with him. Mention, find out if there is anything else, but also mention that if they fire off a beam of concentrated energy into that place, they are going to, and it fires through. So it'd be firing through. Oh, it'd be what would it be firing through? It'd be firing technically. It'd go through. What's it? Ethereal plane. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything fires through the ethereal plane of that potency, they are going to call the wrath of multiple planes, because they will consider that a breach. All of the planes will become aware of this power,
Mm-hmm.
and I do mean all of them, including the hells.
That is a good insight to why why this is very dangerous for them to have.
Oh wait, I
will
don't
let
know they're
them
going to
know.
fire. Yeah, well, he doesn't know they're firing a laser, but if they, fire anything dangerous at it, is what he'll mean.
Well, yeah, he's basically, yeah, I get what Yuri's saying.
And if
you fuck with the portal, it's gonna upset all the realms. There we go.
And if they want this to stop, they either need to dispel whatever is causing such an energy, shroud it in anti-magic, or they need to destroy it.
I will let them know.
Thank you. Right, Fang?
Ooh.
Stealth checks with advantage because 6 is going to be.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll put on my mask again and return into the wood elven form.
Mm-hmm.
This time he's got brown hair with green streaks. But he'd kind of do a little shuffle, straighten out his loincloth, or his leafy cloth, or whatever it was in the artwork, and go, Fang, if you ever need to take a moment with this, just let me know. But try and remember the lion. If you need to take a moment, close your eyes and try and remember what I told you about the lion.
Jeez.
And give a smile.
And like close your eyes and just quietly say, "Remember the lion. Remember the lion. Remember the lion."
We're gonna need a cup of tea after this.
Yes,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Onward we go.
Yeah, so give me that stealth check with advantage for both of you.
I got 13.
Yeah.
19.
19. Okay. We're going to roll an active perception check with disadvantage.
Would I be able to also keep the mist moving with me and Fang as we
Exactly.
go?
I assumed that was you're going to keep yourself as obfuscated as possible. Yeah, that's a 3 and a 5. It wouldn't have mattered either of those rolls. So, okay. So Hicks, you are approaching Stone.
Yep.
So as Fang and Yuri start start their egress away from the tree and toward the necromancy tower. Hicks, you begin to walk out to toward Stone, and it doesn't take Stone long to spot someone approaching them. And I think they've seen you, Hicks. They haven't interacted with you very much directly, but they've seen you. They
saw him in the room.
Because
they waltzed in on him.
Yeah.
Standing over a dead person.
Oh, hello. What are you doing outside?
He's just kind of stared at her for a bit. Didn't want to be locked away in your tower when you hit lockdown, so I left.
Have you seen your
Where
friend?
is Nhudrel?
I believe they're up in the council in Councilperson Meredith's offices discussing the strategy. Have you seen your friend Fang?
No, only I left the tower.
You're gonna have to roll a deception, but it's not gonna be a very high deception check.
Please be good. That's not very good. You got 12.
It's
It was going to be 16 plus 6, but fucked up.
Oh no, they're a cleric too. Oh god.
Yeah, and they're like
A wisdom caster.
it's more about how good do they don't expect the truth from you, but they need to know what the lie is, and they're trying to beat down that, and they're like, well, if you do see your friend, please tell them that I, Stone, in case you forgot my name, am deeply concerned for them. Deeply concerned for them. You haven't seen them outside, though, at all, correct?
Not outside on the ground, no.
Okay.
I saw them in a tree.
I know.
Eat shit.
Your other friend that was with you, I don't recall their name.
To be fair, you did tell the order that I left, didn't you?
What?
As
Hicks-
in, last
Hicks
time you spoke with the order, you told them that I was gone and that you would.
Hicks told the councilman that.
So this is the
okay.
problem. Stone and the council person are not really working in concert. Stone is doing her own thing, and the council person is doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Because Stone doesn't seem all that engaged with the whole, we need to get the channeling device going. They seem to be taking orders from the council person and now fully distracted by this whole Fang situation. Also, at least some of you know, I can't remember if the whole group knows, but at least Yuri knows, this is almost entirely wizard-driven wizardry, right? That's what the towers are, these are things. Stone is also has a level of divine magic that implies that they're not just a wizard.
Yeah, you said they were a cleric.
They are a mix of learned wizard
Cleric-y
magic
wizard.
and cleric divine abilities. So Stone just sort of scrunches her face a little bit and kind of scratches at the back of her ear, and it's like, I believe Councilperson Meredith wants all of your help, but I will, kind of looks you once over, discuss with them how they would like me to comport and not assume any of their designs at this time for this. I'm gonna roll for them. They're old and smart. Not today, though. Not with a 5 on the die. And they're like, yes. Well, and she looks back to the people with her. Best we go inside. Do you have any communications you'd like me to pass along?
Yes. I've spoken to the councilman. He wanted me to bring the ferry back to him. I told him I would not. However, I will speak to the other members of the towers if they come outside and meet me here, one by one. And Nhudrel will come down with them so that we can speak to them together.
Okay, so you're requesting for
You can tell
Nhudrel to
them
come
that.
down here, and I will relay that to the council person. And you can see that she kind of smirks a little bit at this. And, all right. Back to my search for your friend. I hope they're okay. And they gather their administrators back in the tower. They're probably, let's check the kitchens again. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I gotta make sure that they would have this.
Can you roll an insight check on the smoke?
On the what?
On the smoke that Stone gave him? Like, if you can discern anything from it, like...
Oh, yeah,
is it, like,
go for
malicious,
it. Go for it.
or is it, like... anything? You know.
Yeah, do it. Do
I'd
it.
get more information. Woo, he didn't know anything.
Oh, no.
The rain
To
obscured
be
his view.
fair, it makes
To be
sense
fair, though,
that Hicks
it was
isn't
kind
good
of-
at people.
It was going to be a 12. It was
Can
going to
you
be a 14.
give me a wisdom saving throw, Hicks?
Oh!
Oh, good.
Mm.
You do have
Yeah.
an advantage. You're an elf, don't forget, sweetie. Potentially.
But depends if it's charmed.
It's not a charm spell.
Yeah. Because it's only advantage of it's being charmed. Charmed spells. So I got a 13.
13. Okay. You feel the brush of a mental presence on you.
Get the fuck out of my head.
A mental presence on you, but it does not.
Show
It
them
does
all
not
the
hold.
torture you did.
It does not stick around. And Stone and the administrators walk back up to the building. Meanwhile, Yuri and Fang, you are approaching very stealthily, very cautiously, obscured in the sort of minor illusion haze that Yuri has conjured to make it even harder for people to spot you. The necromantic tower. This, as far as construction-wise, looks relatively the same. Little bit of touches here and there. The entryway has, of course, a couple columns and looks more like a grave entryway, right, and everything like that. So, like a little bit of flavor, but nothing nothing that wouldn't be any more threatening than, you know, a cemetery in the daylight, on an overcast day, right? Relatively same construction. Both of you feel the temperature drop here, though. It does definitely get colder as you approach this tower. Not so much so that you can see your breath in the air, but definitely chillier. Less warm, less welcoming, certainly. But there are two big oaken doors that mark the entryway. No one's currently outside of the necromancy tower.
Do they
as
have
you
any
approach.
open windows?
They do actually have open windows. They're like nice little stone windows with like the kind of like trimming and a little bit of ballast. It's all very, very well carved and manicured. But yeah, they actually have some on the first floor here. They do have wrought iron bars on the windows.
Very quick question.
Yeah.
Isn't this is I don't know if this is an Americanism or not. But by first floor, do you mean floor up or do you mean ground floor?
Ground floor
Okay.
windows. Sorry, I forgot. Non-English. Ground floor 0, if you will, is you can actually, there's windows at that layer in a way that the Conjuration Tower did not have this. This place actually has them. They're relatively thin. They're probably only about like 2.5 feet wide. But they are large and they are transparent. They are glass. You do see some wrought iron kind of bars between them, but they're not so dense that they're obscuring view. If you look in them, you'll see inside.
Hey, Fang.
Mm.
Can I, if I take the window over there, can you take the window nearest and we just both have a quick peek in, see what you can see what you can smell.
Okay.
You doing okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then Yuri will go off to the further window while Fang has the nearer one.
Okay, both of you don't have to roll anything to see what's in here, because nothing's trying to be hidden. Unlike the Conjuration Tower, which very much has like business office capital, as you might imagine, not a lot of people go to the Necromancy Tower that are like just going to visit, right? It's not really like the prime location to do business with this country. So when you look inside, it's like a Vampire the Masquerade LARP is happening inside of the tower. It's all candles and fucking like suede like velvety curtains that hang down. It's purples and reds. It's occult as hell looking. Everything's like dark stone. It's lit in the way that all of you can both see inside of it, especially since it's been overcast. You imagine it would be a little dim if you'd been looking in through like bare sunlight, and you'd have to adjust. But there's tons of like candelabras and stuff like that, and everyone in here has those same sort of dark robes, but all of them have their like hoods up. And instead of it being like desks and stuff, there's like pedestals with books that people are looking. This is much more of like what you would expect a kind of dark arts wizard to have at the base of their tower. But there's still a number of, it still very much looks like a collaborative space of work. It's just, instead of it being places where it's offices and seats and stuff, it's a lot of like tables with people like leaning over them. Conjurations, you even see some people like working cauldrons and trying to stir and cast spells over like cauldrons. It's very much like you're peeking into what is perceived primarily as a like private club space, where they don't really have it set up to receive visitors who don't know what they're about to walk into, kind of thing.
Okay. How do they look? Because obviously, like, what's the word? How to explain this? Obviously, only the Conjuration students remained. So, is it less busy in there? Do they look more panicked?
Yeah, so there's definitely less people. You do notice, eventually, if you look long enough, you notice that there are just straight up some walking around skeletons, carrying scrolls as like undead servants. they're clean. They're like they're like bleach bone white and everything. They're not like they're gruesome in the way that a walking around skeleton would be, but they don't have like little tendrils of flesh or anything like that. They're very much functionary. But like as far as like humanoid individuals look, there's probably about 10 or 12 of them. The difference here is that the administrative offices was a lot of like chatter and office work and the kind of things that you would expect. Here on the main floor here, it's a lot of people like in like almost a hushed library kind of tone where there might be whispering to each other. And everything here looks haunted almost. The people themselves, when you get peeks of them from under their hoods and everything, all look alive. But everything here, like because of the color palette, because of the age of everything, because there's like you can see in some of the corners that probably don't get dusted a lot. There's, cobwebs and stuff like that. It is a very kind of spooky Halloween vibe. It's exactly what you would expect from like a necromantic lair. There's definitely some. You literally see someone drinking out of a goblet that's like a claw hand holding a goblet that's just like sipping it as a beverage, and everything while they discuss quietly with something. What you don't see is anybody that looks like they're. You don't see a lot of panic, but you do see a lot of like very intense discussion in these things. You can't really hear it, but you can see some people like flipping through a page and pointing at it and underlining it and arguing a little bit. I say the busyness is most evident from the skeleton servants, the undead servants. They are moving with a quickened pace, never standing still, always like ferrying things from one of these people to another person.
Yuri would go over to Fang and be like, "So, what are your first thoughts?"
They're strange.
I'm quite. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be nothing Fang had ever seen before.
To be fair, Yuri. Yuri would not have seen anything like this.
Yeah, Yuri would know that this kind of stuff probably exists, but probably not have like first-hand visibility on it or first-hand experience with it.
Fang, I must shoot a theatre one time, but in our theatres back at home, they often do these. What was this show called? I can't remember, but funnily enough, there's a character called Fang in there. It's about vampires. It was very intense. Other kind of intense. But the stage decorations were identical to this. It's an acting tower.
Ding.
The wrong two went to the necromancy tower.
They seem very snowy.
I wonder if they're vampires. Oh, that'd be so exciting.
What is a vampire?
They are very attractive men.
Oh.
You're literally the opposite of what we need in our Wednesday campaigns.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Yuri's only view of vampires is what he's seen in theatre. And all the time.
It's all fucking gorgeous, seductive men.
Yeah.
That know what they're about at all times.
And you can see during that Yuri's eyes are slowly turning green before he kind of blinks a few times as they slowly go a bit brown again. He goes, right, okay, well, no, there's necromancy tower, no vampires, as fun as that would be. I don't see too much options. I want to try and talk to them. I think that they don't have a magic to hold me in there, nor you, I hope. Because if they used a hallow spell, they wouldn't be able to have undead in there. I think, and he'd smile, people who, other than Hicks, and maybe Hicks as well, he has a complex, but I think if these are people who are used to being shamed and in the darkness for necromancy, I think we just need to be kind to them.
Be kind.
But, yeah, so I think just be yourself. Oh, do you have any snacks on you?
I do. Likely, I think.
You do. You have some.
Okay.
So you can't help but acquire snacks when you see them as well, because you're always hungry. And so while you were in the kitchen, you inevitably pocketed various like little things. So you've got like a couple like croissant pastries. You probably got some pretzels and some other like little bits and bobs that you would find in the kitchen that you could easily like wrap in a cloth or pocket and stuff. And that's not like it's almost like a unconscious action that Fang's just constantly like keeps food on them. Because I imagine Fang eats probably the amount of 3 adult people at any given time.
Yeah.
They're a big, strong, 8 foot tall barbarian. They got a deep stomach.
Right, Fang, prepare the snacks. Oh gosh.
Rummaging to get like a decent platter of food together.
I am going to. Oh goodness, I've never tried to sway a crowd like this before. Always exciting, also terrifying. Oh, Hicks is going to be mad. He'll be fine. And Yuri's just going to start scrolling up to the front door.
Yep, you just go into the door. It is unlocked if you try to open it. It's not like it's.
Yuri goes to unlock it, like open the door, and then he goes, "Fang, I learned this from the theater." And he's going to knock on the door because I find
Fang does a little clap.
It's a little pause.
Yuri does it very theatrically. He's like, knock.
There's a little pause, and then the door opens, and it creaks open. It's just the most haunted sounding door. And
does not like the sound.
He needs some oil.
Creaks open, and standing in front of you is just a regular, like, human-looking person. Slicked back, black hair, pale skin, but not undeathly pale, just normal pale. Male skin, really intense eyes and everything, and they look at a wood elf and a giant redheaded barbarian. If you're looking for the Conjuration Tower, it is over there.
Actually, I'm really sorry to but we were hoping to talk to this tower actually and see your tower.
There's a pause, and then the person's face like begins to light up, then stops.
We brought snacks.
Oh, you've brought snacks. Well, come in. This is the Necromancy Tower. You're looking for the Necromancy Tower. This is Come in, and you get welcome. Their whole demeanor changes. They kind of push up their like robe sleeves a little bit. Come in, and everyone like suddenly like turns to look, and again, there's like a second or two where everybody's face is flat. Everybody's like eyes are like wide, like they have the kind of irises that don't get obfuscated by their eyelids. So they all have this real intense look to them at a moment. And then this kind of like small crowd of maybe 10 or a dozen living things, and then a bunch of skeletons that have all just kind of stopped in place and are looking at you with their hollow skeleton eyes. Look, and then after this like 2-second beat. The whole demeanor of everybody brightens, and they're like, when the person that welcomed you in, it's just like, they've come to visit the Necromancy Tower, and everybody is like smiles really wide, and they're like, welcome in, come in, as you are welcome, and then the person follows up, they've brought snacks, and just a jovial energy like a hearth warms this very cold, haunted place. And now upon being inside of here in the candlelight, yes, it's purple and black and blood red, and it's all very, it's all very haunted mansion spooky in here. but it's warm and it's cozy and it's very plush. Honestly, like all of the chairs, there are chairs in here with like high wingbacks with gratefully cared for designs in the oak and wood and everything. It's all very gothic, but it's all very lovely and very cared for. Yes, there's cobwebs and dust in some of the higher corners. The other thing that you notice is this is a little bit more like a classic Wizard's Tower in the way that several floors up is just ceiling. You can actually see the stairwell that wraps around the outside of the tower, or like the interior edge of the outer wall of the tower. You can see it go up for like 20, 30 feet before it hits a floor and just goes up into the portal. So obviously this isn't the organized 10 floor, every level is like has a purpose kind of thing. This is much more of like a classical space, and they're like, and then some of the skeletons immediately get to work pulling out chairs for you and grabbing kind of like a low, almost like coffee table. And they're like, how can we help you? We're so glad that you're safe. It's so terrible outside.
It is. I actually bring some good news about that. Fang and myself and another dear peer of mine, we encountered some of your students who were escaping the storm. I just want to let you know we helped ensure that they were safe and tended to them on their way out.
That's so kind of you. It's so rare to see.
If I remembered any of their names, I would just say that.
Yeah, inevitably you rattle off a name, and they're like, "That's so kind of you." It's so rare to see kind strangers during a dangerous time like that. We're so happy. We'll have to let the councilman. Know about that. Yes, please come. Snack. Would you like anything to drink? Tea, wine. I think we've got some proper spirits. If you want, water.
Come on, Fang. Let's go do some absinthe. Let's have a party. Hicks and Nhudrel come back, and it's just Fang and Yuri wasted dancing with the necromancers.
Dancing with skeletons.
Fang is doing the spooky, scary skeleton stuff.
It is so hard for me not to just hum that.
Well, actually, I do have quite a few questions about the tower and your studies. But speaking of the councilman, I think it would be good to speak to them as well. I potentially have. Yuri's going to pause for a minute. I'm going to be exceedingly honest with you. Part of the reason I've come to Necromancy Tower is because I understand that your art form is completely misunderstood and is often equated unfairly to evil.
Yes. Oftentimes it is.
The fairest opinion here.
Yeah, a lot of people think that we're all doing evil deeds and raising undead armies. Does this look like an undead army? And there's like 3 skeletons that are like overloaded with various scrolls and books and everything, and they're like they're just here. I appreciate that you have such an open mind about the practice of the manipulation of life and death. It's not like we're taking souls or anything. We're just animating things that are unanimated, and putting them to use. And sometimes, and sometimes that scares people.
Yuri would pause for a moment, and he would.
I should ask. Well, you're paused. At the moment that you pause, I should ask. Both of you are living, right? You're fully living, like.
Yuri looks down at himself like, "Am I?" Like
also like what, poking her cheeks.
It's a weird question, I know, but we have to ask.
What does it mean to live? Yuri's like, and he opens his palm, and like a beautiful like rose spirals out, but then the rose starts to wither, and he basically keeps repeatedly withering and then reblooming the rose, and he's like looking at it while contemplating life.
Some of them are extremely delighted by this. They're like, that is perfect. That's showing like creating sort of like an immediate life and then showing it cycle into death and everything like that. And they're quite pleased. It's like, they're like, God, this is going to sound so creepy. Do you bleed if you get cut?
Ooh,
Oh.
yes.
But can't certain constructs, like flesh constructs, do that?
You don't seem like flesh constructs to us, but I mean,
Thank you. That's
you're very attractive
said.
people. I'm gonna assume what I'm dancing around. Are either of you vampires? Are either of you vampires? You're not,
Oh
right?
no. Do you have a problem with that? Like, as in, do they come here a lot?
So a lot of vampires.
Excited.
A lot of vampires think that because we're necromancers that like we're natural allies, but the problem is that our job is to take we see our work as putting to use that which has no longer become useful. We wouldn't ever want to ensnare something that wasn't willing to do that. And a lot of vampires are very aggressive about their thing. They also need to feed on the living. The living isn't really our bailiwick, right? So we just want to make sure that you're not vampires. You're normal living things.
Well, I'm not normal.
Well, I mean, normal in the sense that normal in the sense that you breathe and there's blood and things like that.
Yuri's gonna squint and he's just gonna well, first he's gonna look to Fang. Fang, what is your response?
I feed on this. I am living. I cook like pig. I cook pig.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine. They like smile real big. You're good. You're good. Sorry, I know it's a weird question. Everyone's always put off by it. So you have a lot of questions about what's happening here and everything like that. A lot of things to communicate.
Concerns as well.
Of course.
Not about your magic. Don't worry. Actually, I have a really odd question. This is to talk about later. Do you have studies of the soul here? Yuri will actually, for once, show quite an upset face, I guess.
We have people that study sort of how the soul interacts with the body and is part of the death cycle. Yeah.
Okay. I might need your help after things have calmed a bit because it's a bit tense. Right. Hi. My brain is completely drawn a blank for a second. Hello.
Can they remove curses for us?
Oh, actually, yeah. That's good point. Actually,
What about my dagger?
I
want to use the nice dagger.
Very strange question. Does this place also hoard relics, or is that purely the conjuration?
It's not purely the conjuration. We don't have a lot of relics. They're not useful for a lot of our focus, right? There's certainly some things that we've enchanted that are old that might be perceived as relics, but we don't not a lot of people practice necromancy. And a lot of people, just the moment they see something with necromantic energy, just destroy it. Because they don't understand it, or they're worried that it's gonna do things. And admittedly, some necromancers in the past have been a little bit overzealous in their desire for immortality. What?
Yeah, he was just going along with it, little bit, tiny bit.
Yeah. But we focus more on the transitions with life and death, the communication with the dead, and things like that. We try to stay away from things. I can't untangle, but I'm sure the councilman can. Are you good with us sending someone to get the councilman?
Yeah, no. Are they happy to come down here? Do you want us to?
They'll come down here. They'll be more than delighted to come see you. Somebody,
they've got snacks downstairs.
Somebody get Myron, and they don't even give a title to it. Someone get Myron and one of send the skeletons, and so a couple of the skeletons just go up the stairwell to go get that.
Yuri in the meantime is going to go up to if they have any floral arrangements, gothic floral arrangements.
Oh,
he's going to
they
put
do.
his finger on it, and he's going to ensure that they're all very healthy. But then he's going to use it to he's going to basically change his because as despite being a wood elf, he's still like in the like floral, with the loincloth and all that. So he's going to change it to be all the gothic flowers.
Fang is passing out snacks to all the people in the room and giving their shoulder a comforting, firm squeeze after she hands them out.
Well, Fang is passing out snacks. One of the skeletons, just by parroting, grabs one and tries to eat one, and it just falls through their head,
No!
through their rib cage, and just drops onto the ground.
Wait, Fang, you could summon him. Summon him a phantasmal. It's a phantasmal tomato. It's phantasmal. An undead could probably eat it.
Oh,
Would that work? Would that work?
You know what? I don't know, but the answer is yes. Yes, it would work. Yes, it will work.
Fang, Yuri is going to very excitingly. Actually, everyone, today is quite a momentous occasion. Fang just got her first one.
In fact, pulls out the wand very excitedly.
Everybody claps. They're all just like, "Oh, wonderful! A first wand!" And someone's like, "I remember my first wand." They're all very they're like, "What does it do?"
Well, okay, Fang, let me show you how to do this. And he's gonna, he's just going to, he's gonna grow a little stick just so he can hold it. Okay, Fang, are you ready? Copying me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this time, because you don't want it to aggressively fire anywhere, just open out your other hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then slowly like this, and Yuri is going to do the exact motion of bippity boppity beep.
And does the same rather clumsily, and then taps into the palm of her hand for the tomato to show up.
Do you just want to summon one?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
as a starter, we're summoning one
beautiful non-supermarket tomato properly grows out, and it's got spectral, almost ghostly energy around it and everything. And the skeleton that ate the bit of pastry goes and reaches for it, and then just looks at Fang and looks at the others around, and then looks back at Fang, waiting, its hand hovering.
Fang holds out the tomato and places the tomato gently in the skeleton's hands.
The skeleton looks at it, holds it in its hands, and is fully interacting with it, and then goes and all of the other skeletons literally just drop whatever they're holding and circle around this skeleton that has the tomato, and it just takes a quick bite and then passes it around, and it dissipates when it's in their head. And it's hard because skeletons don't have facial features, but obviously they can all taste it. Obviously they can all interact with it. And everyone else is in a moment, they're looking around it because they know about summoning kind of non-physical, almost illusionary food and everything. But this is a little different. And they're all just oh, that's so wonderful. And everybody is just so enthusiastic. As they do that, you immediately, Yuri, see someone cast Speak with the Dead, and they're talking with one of the skeletons that have taken a bite and translating this one. You can they can taste it. They can we make food for our skeletons and everything, and they immediately
perks up immediately.
Yeah, they immediately start having a fast conversation.
You need to make them a nice salad or something now. You need to get. What can you make them? Tomato puree?
Yeah, just a little tomato soup. Maybe someone can summon spectral grilled cheeses.
Yuri will go, well, actually, if you want, it's a very simple wand from where I'm from. I can give you the base schematics for how to make that. And then you can potentially adapt it to different foods.
We'd love that. That would be so...
Okay, I'll do that after the meeting.
Yes, of course. And just around this time, coming down the stairs, first the two skeletons that went up there, but following them is a very haunted-looking, high cheekbones, sallow, hair sort of exploding from their head. Thick, gray and white hair, eyes just as wide open as they can be, very like pale blue eyes with almost pinprick pupils, in a beautiful, like very, very like with a cravat, very like black and red, smoking jacket, onyx pin on it, where skeletal earrings, is a halfling man, that has a smock kind of over this smoking jacket, and currently has like blue, essentially like blue rubber gloves, like plastic gloves that you just kind of slide over your hands, like a CSI person would have. Perfectly clean. A ghost-wise halfling comes down, and they also have a belt kit on their apron, on their kind of white apron, that has various surgical tools on it, like a scalpel and like a magnifying glass and like another couple like cutting devices and a little hand bone saw and everything. And they look down, and again, for the first few seconds, an immediately severe look on their face, thin lips and everything. Older gentleman, like it looks like an older gentleman in their like late 50s, early 60s, and then their face crinkles up with so many smile lines as they smile, and they're like, "Oh, hello there, friends. Are these the strangers with snacks? Hello." As they kind of,
I just throw out my hand for Fang first with the snacks.
my name.
Then brings forward a lovely pastry for him.
Oh, thank you so much. As they walk down, they're 3 feet tall. Fang is 8 feet tall. And they look up at Fang and then over at Eerie and the rest of them. It's like, oh, so wonderful. My name is Myron, or Dr. Himrin. Dr. Himrin is my name. Pleasure to meet you. Our friends here brought me down. You have some questions. I'm the man in charge of this place. Thank you so much for coming and visiting our little corner of the Crest Arcana.
It's absolute pleasure. Honestly, genuinely, it's very interesting. Where I'm from, there's no real studying of necromancy. It just doesn't really exist, so it's fascinating for me.
I mean, it's a fascinating subject. I'm more than happy to educate you on it. But I was told that you have some questions, some concerns, and everything.
Yes. Firstly, I don't know if it's been relayed to you. Warren, so insert student name here. Yuri would lower his voice, but he would explain the whole situation with the collars and stuff, and he would just quickly go through that.
Oh, monstrous. I'm so glad that you dealt with that problem. You said you sent them up to the library in a drain. We'll send some messages. Can we collect how many students did you say there were? And you tell me whatever number we said there were students. I think 15.
Like 23 or something?
20 some odd, something like that. Care packages. Get together care packages for all the students, not just the necromancers. Get together a care package for them. Send them up to the Library of Drain. They'll need supplies. I'm sure they left with nothing. Fantastic. And when you say the names, there was like 2 necromancy students. When you say the names, this person recognizes them. You can call me Myron. That's the name that friends call me, and anyone that brings us snacks. Obviously a friend. I'm so glad that you're not uncomfortable by our decor and our interests. It's so exciting to meet people that give an honest look into our arts. Are you with the group that was with councilperson Meredith in the Conjuration Tower? Are you associated with them? Do you know anything about those people? Or are we just getting a lot of visitors? That makes sense. There's been a terrible tragedy.
That is admittedly partly why we came here. We've naturally different towers will have their biases, and the bias that Yuri will just pause and then he will say, admittedly, I am the fairy they spoke of.
Oh, wonderful!
Which is very rude to say.
I'm gonna. Oh, what would you prefer to be called? What it was?
You may call me Yuri. That's fine.
Yuri. Okay. But we shouldn't use the F word for you.
No. The F word's fine. It just depends how you use it.
Oh, okay.
It's just I'm an Eladrin. I'm not a fairy.
Oh, an Eladrin. Fantastic. Well, Yuri, pleasure to meet you.
You're welcome.
Also, don't tell anyone else that you're from another realm. It's not going to go well for you. By the way, don't offer that up public. You're fine with me, but don't offer that publicly if you can avoid it.
That is why I came here, actually. Discovered quite practically the conjuration had performed a hallow spell while I was in the tower.
Yeah,
which I'm sure your undead would know what that was.
Yes, we do. We can't do it here. Horrible, absolutely terrible manners.
And your peer, and I can't tell you, I'm not sure which towers, but they plan to keep me.
Yes, I remember. So there was a conference with us. Meredith, Colby was there. Wonderful, super charismatic self, as I'm sure you're already familiar with. And they grin. So yes, now all of the towers are aware that somewhere there is a person from the other realm that people here would love to get their little mitts in, but that's them. We're just happy to have anyone show up as guests. Okay, I'm gonna say something, and it's going to be a little bit. There's not like a key on the inside, or anything, so anyone can just leave whenever they want. And you're of course welcome to. Can you make sure that nobody else comes into the doors addressing the thing? We don't want other people coming in here unless you approve it.
Yes, there is one person, and actually this is a conversation. You are, of course, fabulous necromancer, so you must be aware of where souls go.
Yes, we've got a lot of names for it. The Soul Realm, the Shadow Realm, Shadowfell, the in-between space. Like, there's lots of names for it, but yes,
there is a man still out there, and admittedly, whilst I would prefer subtlety to someone who is studied on such topics, I don't think he could hide it. He is an ally, and he is, of course, working for a good cause. There is a Shadow Kai out there.
Oh. One of the citizens of it.
Yes. I don't know what he's doing, but if you could potentially somehow send a messenger out to
of course,
ask if he wants to come over.
Would it be fun to send a skeleton? Would it be really fun to send a skeleton with like a written message?
It really would be.
Okay, let's get a skeleton to do it.
Do you have message?
We have people that can message directly, yes. But I was thinking, like, if we just like pin like a written note to them, and then they just sort of walk up.
My one concern is that it's going to be if all the towers can look out their window and see a skeleton.
Oh, you're right. Damn, that would be so. Really no one expects a skeleton.
Okay,
no one expects one.
But at one point before we leave, can you please send him a skeleton messenger? It would be
absolutely.
So much
It's fun every time. It's like, what's a skeleton gonna do? You can just push them down. Like they're very fragile. I don't know why people are scared of them. They're just fun. They're just fun, and they're easy to manage. But nonetheless, I'll have someone send. Take a spyglass, look toward the direction of the Conjuration Tower. Once you get sight on them, you should be able to message them from a distance and easily communicate with them to tell them that they're welcome and that they're safe here. You'll be looking for the grumpiest looking person you can find. There are probably not a lot of people outside, but if they're a citizen of the and like the purgatory realm, you'll be looking for something like that, where it's just they just look like they're just upset lightly at all times.
Racism.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's very helpful.
Uh,
Um,
one of the students goes to get like a spyglass and is doing that while you're having your conversation.
so why I came here, was naturally I want to help. We want to help, but the fact that the Conjuration Tower has already sought to lock away 2 of us.
Ooh.
Yes, it's a complicated situation, and one that I don't know too well. We, as necromancers, I'm sure you're used to having to do good things without the public even being aware at times because of the prejudice.
Of course.
And that's why I came here, because I assumed if anyone could help me help subtly or stay under the radar while still being able to actually provide a resolution, it would potentially be you all. I know you may not be experts on the rift, but you may be able to help me help without being captured.
Yes, of course. Yeah, they will absolutely. I don't know if Meredith specifically would do that, but I do know that some of the other council would more than happily contain you in some sort of circle or device or something like that and try and study you or pull the magic out of you or some other monstrous thing. And so your fears are fully understandable. You are 100% safe here. I have no interest in doing you harm, and if you can help us, I will gladly. I lie to the other counselors all day, every day. It's normal.
You know what? I respect that.
I mean, sometimes you just got to do certain things without people knowing so that it can benefit them without them getting in their own way. And again,
preaching to the choir.
Again, for some reason, people get very upset. You know, we try to be respectful, we ask permission and such, but people just get uncomfortable with even being asked if we can interact with their past relatives, even though their souls have moved on. Like, it's not like they're actually in there anymore. Sometimes we can channel like a communication conduit with them, and it seems like they're in there, but they're not like there. That would unless I'm feeling real spicy that day. And then I'm not doing it in an undead. I'm bringing someone all the way back.
Speaking of such, I don't mean to stir gossip, as it were, but because I discussed with one of your peers about the towers, why would the Conjuration Tower be hoarding relics with necromantic nature from the shadow?
They have some necromantic relatives or relics in there too. Oh, yeah, from the Shadowfell. Oof.
Well, yeah, no, and I was more wondering why you weren't studying it. Surely you would be most equipped.
I mean, we didn't know they had it.
Interesting. They also have artifacts from the Hells, which is
that's
also
dangerous. That's incredibly dangerous. Other categories of other studies of wizardry are more confident that they can handle things and do not take their, in my opinion, do not always take their magic seriously. To use a bit of a pun, there are grave consequences to screwing around with things that you don't understand.
And that would be truly aghast.
Oh, excellent. They give you a little golf clap. But yes, I wouldn't say I'm surprised that they have this. All of the towers have, we're a council of 8, but everyone, of course, jockeys for being the most important wizard on the crest because ego, right? Can't fault wizards for having a little bit of ego, of being the most powerful version of that wizard. Yeah, after all this is dealt with, we'll be putting in some requisition forms to make sure that they're safely handling things that should be safely handled. And if you're friends from the Shadowfell, they're welcome to reclaim the artifacts if they want.
Well, I have already reclaimed it for him.
Oh, excellent!
No,
Good work. Good work.
listen-
It's not stealing if you're just taking back possessions that are yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But actually, when he gets it, the dagger that he does have, it's cursed with quite potent necromantic energy. I'd wonder if you could have a look at it.
Yeah, I can see
so
about
he
it.
could
If not
use
me, I
weapon
can
from his
find
people
someone
again.
that can do a pretty powerful curse removal.
Thank you. That would be. That would. Can they remove more than one kind of curse, or just?
Of course.
Necromantic? Okay. We need to get the Shadow Guy here now. Please.
Okay. Already, Hicks, you're hearing from you hear in your kind of ear as if someone's gently whispering, and you know what a message spell sounds like. So you're getting a message from some rando voice that's just like, "You're
Why do I
very,
imagine Hicks's mind has elevator music?
you're it does. Smuzak. Your wonderful friends have come to the Necromancy Tower. They're so delightful. Please come join us. Apparently you're in quite a bit of danger."
Oh no.
Vix isn't even gonna reply, but he's gonna hastily with grace make his way to the tower because he interpreted that as "I've got your friends hostage."
Yeah.
The skeletons open the door. Have the skeletons open the door.
You want me to have the skeletons open the door for? They're coming. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
no weapons. No weapons.
Of course
otherwise we might
not.
start Eldritch blasting.
Do you want us to dim the lights and we've got an
And
organ
they're
in the
"Who's a
corner?
warlock?" And then they get depressed because they realize
Um,
it's just a hexblade, not a fucking necromancer.
I
we-
mean, technically, you do use. You're still attuned to.
Yeah,
death.
we've
Yeah,
got
but it's not
we've got like a
undead,
pipe
undying
organ. Do you want us
necromancer.
to get someone on the pipe organ so it's got the music with it and everything?
I play the pipe organ.
You play the pipe
God.
organ? It's over there. You see a pipe organ.
Yuri's Wait, Yuri's gonna go. He's gonna take a deep breath and go, ah, and then he's gonna appear in the full garb
Okay.
with everyone up, but a full he's not actually vampires, but it's like a vampire's masquerade.
Yeah.
That very he's got the ruffles.
That 18th to 19th century, just formal, that fantastical aesthetic. Okay, you said that they're from there, and they're in. Okay, everybody that
Just
needs
don't
to,
scare him too much. From him
everybody
being
that needs to
Shadow
breathe,
Kai.
go hide somewhere safe. Because we really want this to land, but they're probably going to react with violence at first. It's fine. It'll be a big laugh. Skeletons, places. And then all of them.
Fang, sit down somewhere, like on a sofa, and strike a pose.
She's gonna find this big black blanket tarp thingum. Sit
Does
down
anyone
and
have a
drape
cat?
it over herself.
Does anyone have a? Oh, it's just gone under the tarp. She gone under the tarp.
Yeah, she put the tarp over herself.
I love this so much. So, Hicks, you approach. You see windows with iron bars in front of them, but they are windows that you can just look in through from the ground level. And you see the big two oaken doors as you approach. And before you get super close, before you get within 25, 30 feet of it, the doors begin to just very slowly, again, loudly creeping open and everything. And all you can see is just the dimmest of candlelight, barely flickering, but mostly just pure darkness inside.
Should I do a performance check for the
Give me a
organ?
performance for the organ, please, with advantage because it's for a prank.
Oh my god, I rolled so bad. Okay, that's still an 18. Fine.
18. As the doors open, Hicks, you hear just fucking Phantom of the Opera organ just beginning to play. This Castlevania music starts blaring out of
This is
the.
when Hicks is like, "Oh damn, that's a tune."
What do you do,
Is there
Hicks?
anyone like at the doors?
Right
when he
now,
goes-
you
like, when he-
right now you don't see anyone at the doors. You just see kind of like the darkness inside.
I mean, he'd approach because he's still like he's under the assumption from how the message was relayed that they're holding hostage.
Yeah.
So
As you get just outside of the door, suddenly from either side of the door, you see first their hands kind of slide, their bone hands slide across the interior of the door, and then two skeletons appear, poking their heads out with their just empty eyes.
I wouldn't say like Hicks is like he doesn't. Oh, I mean, he never looks like anything here because
Yeah.
his face doesn't change. But okay, puppy, hold on. He doesn't look like frightened or anything. He kind of looks more like determined, and as he sees, because obviously he still can't see into the tower. I'm assuming, like through the. Or can he see? I don't know how close
You
he's
have
like.
dark
Can he? Is
vision.
it still dark inside or?
Yeah, it's pretty
what's that
dark in there. Your eyes kind of adjust to it, and you're Shadow Kai, so you have dark vision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and so you literally see what I've described. You see like tapestries and hanging, fucking velvet, velvet candelabras and shit. It's like full Halloweened up, inside there. A big stone thing. You can see someone just in a cloak, you can see somebody just in like this beautiful Victorian outfit. You can't really make out their details too much, but you can kind of see the organ in the background and someone like masterfully playing an organ in the background behind there at the far back of it. You're just making the outlines of them. And yeah, there's a couch, there's various old wooden chairs, all the stuff we've described. You do see another couple skeletons sort of walking about. You don't see any other figures because Fang is under the tarp.
A very black tarp.
Well, since he sees nothing and just skeletons, he's gonna take out his scimitar. Like it's still like together.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't taken it apart, so it'll just be like one like piece.
Mm.
So he'll have that almost as if he'll have to like dual wield it. So he'll just kind of take that off, and then immediately, like, he's not going to have done it yet, but you'll be able to see what they would know because they've seen it before is like his Eldritch Blast forming in his hand because so it's that blue black energy that's forming because he's like okay, well, no one's here and there's dodgy skeletons. I'm just bash my way in. Cool.
As soon as Yuri sees the slate casting, Yuri starts playing the most upbeat, cheerful song you've ever heard played on an organ, and he's trying to get the skeletons to dance, and he was just going,
without missing a beat. The moment your organ shifts, all of the skeletons start like dancing about a little bit, and the lights on the candles begin to very basically but gently like strobe in the appropriate 4/4 rhythm. Or 3/4 because it's probably a waltz rhythm of the thing. And so Hicks, before you get your Eldritch Blast off, you can see the skeletons have all begun dancing.
Yuri also did shout hi, and as he does, even though where we are, Yuri will actually fully break his illusion and appear as a Springer Lantern.
So you've got your Eldritch Blast in hand, or like in charged up.
Forming.
It's
not there yet.
It just aims at Yuri's face. It just goes to Yuri's face.
Yeah, and then you can see now Yuri in full green Eladrin form, and everything, and the skeletons are still dancing, and it's still very dark.
Yuri, poor
I
him.
suppose once he sees Yuri, like he'll like, I don't know, the Eldritch Blast will like dissipate.
Mm.
But he'll still be holding the scimitar in his hand, and
Fang, remove the blanket.
he'll
Fang,
walk.
I throws off the tarp.
Oh, where is she? I
I'm
don't know where she is.
here.
She's on a couch, just kind of in the middle of the room. You can easily see her when she tosses
She's
off the
just
top.
munching a snack underneath the tent.
Yeah.
With the croissant in hand.
Croissant!
With
What
that
the
croissant. The lights, when Fang throws off the tarp, the candles all surge to their normal brightness. It's still dim in here, but it's fully visible and everything. And you see this the as per described, the doctor, Myron, just like begin to cackle like a mad scientist laugh almost, but like clapping, like welcome in,
Hicks
come
is just
in.
immediately gonna point his blade at him because he thinks something funky's up. He's like not vibing with this whole prank. He's just kind of like, oh, so you're the one I need to kill because you've clearly charmed people.
Ooh, hands up! And he puts his hands up the moment he sees the blade, but he's still like smiling.
I mean, to be fair, at least thanks to that.
I see the rumors of the sense of humor of your people are accurate. Come on in. It's fine, everybody. It's fine. Prank's over. And you can see that you can see that the skeletons on either door side are beginning to close the doors normally, not like slowly. They still creak like, oh, get out, but like they just close them as doors and everything. And some people are coming out from like behind, empty armors and drapes and everything like that from behind drapes. And they're in the student robes, and all of them are kind of like smiling in relatively good spirits. And Fang's sitting there on the couch. Some of them immediately return to the snacks. And the doctor...
Hicks is just gonna kind of like look at Fang and then look at Yuri and then look back at the councilman and then just be like,
It's
what do you
okay,
mean
Hicks.
this is a prank?
It was a joke. Humor.
How far away is Yuri?
I don't know.
He was not saying that to be shitty. He was actually just being like...
Yeah, no, but how far away is he?
Probably
I
like
don't know,
60, 80
where
feet.
the organ is.
60, 80 feet away. Other side of the room.
Hicks is gonna kind of like storm because he can see Fang is like, well, to be fair, Fang's like double his size, so he's not really gonna fuck with it too much. Yeah. But it's kind of like march up to Yuri kind of thing, and almost like look like he's gonna grab him by like his scruff of his collar, as if like he's wearing like normal clothing. I don't know, grab a leaf or something. Yeah, kind of like and then just be like, why are you playing these stupid pranks? I thought that something bad was happening. And you can see he's like actually like concerned that something had happened to them.
Yeah, Yuri's eyes
That
go
would have been
wide.
locked up.
But Yuri's eyes go wide in the way of like, yes.
Maybe it wasn't the time.
It's like he doesn't say it, but he's just like But
when he looks at him with stupid like big eyes, he's just gonna kind of like do that like slight shove away, but he's still like very like on edge.
Let me apologize. No. Let me apologize. I encouraged the prank. Hello. My name is.
He enabled me.
My name is Councilman Hamiran. Just call me Myron. Councilman Hamiran. Call me Myron. I'm the leader in this halfling that's got this again, very mad scientist aesthetic around him, with his doctor smock with his very surgical tools and everything, and he's wearing his light blue kind of gloves, and it's like pleasure to meet you. It was my fault. We so rarely get to just bring out the skeletons and do to have fun with it, and just kind of walks out. And walks up boldly to Hicks and with his hand out to shake Hicks's hand.
He's not going to take it. He's just going to kind of look down at him in like a not disappointed, but a semi-disappointed way.
Yeah.
And he's not going to take his hand. And he's like going to slowly, very slowly put his scimitar away. But like, you know that when he's doing it like
turns
that
from that
slowly,
to that
it's like don't try me. I'm putting it away. Don't try me kind of slow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Okay.
you have had a bad time here. I'm so sorry.
We really have.
Please, do you need a beverage?
You're-
Tea, water, wine, spirits, absinthe?
Drink. No.
He's not. Hicks is literally not saying anything. He's just kind of glaring down at this little halfling.
You're walk over and go, okay, Fang. Nope, you're not Fang, you're Hicks. Yes. Yuri would firstly do the whole explanation, just because it's long repeating myself of like why he came to necromancers, because they understand how to deal with things discreetly, and Hicks, they are also studied on the Shadokai and the plane to an extent, and they have offered. You don't need to give it to them, but they have offered to remove the curse from your blade, which I think would be helpful. But also they've agreed to help us subtly handle the situation here without the attention of the conjuration or the other powers.
And you trust them?
Actually, yes. To be quite honest, any of these towers would have the what's the word? If they wanted to me or you captured here, or mostly me, I guess, they would have done that by now. These are archmages. They could have teleported me into the other tower and sealed me away by now. They could have alerted everyone. It's not. At the end of the day, we can't distrust everyone, and I honestly trust the people who are misunderstood and trusted the least, because often they have to work twice as hard to be trusted when they are sometimes the best people.
Hicks is gonna just like be quiet for a moment as after Yuri speaks. And then he's gonna like reach, I don't know, into his magical pocket things that all D&D characters have.
Isn't it a Pokeball? No, it's
Well, yeah,
not.
he's gotta get the. No, it is.
Wait.
He's just got to get the Pokeball out.
Because the cursed items
It's
are in the Pokeball.
He's getting the Pokeball out of his
true.
pockets.
Oh, could you get the book out too,
Well,
please?
Before you get
Not-
cursed items out, apologies if this is about the cursed
we might
item.
need to wait for that.
Before we get going, I just need to double check, because I think remove curse is a third level objuration spell. If it's a real heavy curse, I'm gonna have to pull in someone from the get something from the abjuration tower. I can remove some of the necromancy and stuff like that, but if it's something that goes further, that could be there. And we probably don't want to do it on the main floor here. We probably want to do it in a safe space with wards and things like that. That would be in either the second floor or the top floor. Your choice. You could either go to the lab or my quarters.
Well, maybe it'd be best to first discuss what's going on before we do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think it's only fair that you understand the whole situation.
I'm deeply curious, but yeah.
If you trust anyone in abjuration to help, and you deeply trust them, we will trust your judgment.
So it would have to be with lies, because they seem trustworthy, but I worry what they do with you. So we just wouldn't mention you all. They're nice. Jane is a super nice lady, but she tends to overstep a lot. And
protective?
Well, I mean, it's abjuration magic, right? So that's the thing. And so she's a sweetheart of a woman, and would adore all of you, but also might think that she's doing a kinder act and not treat you as as the standalone adults that you all clearly are. But yeah,
he says that. Yuri's just going to very quietly just like look at Fang and kind of bow his head. It's kind of like it's just like it's that very much like acknowledgement of previous conversation kind of thing. It's kind of like yes, of course, sometimes people do actions to which they think are good and protecting people, but can be the opposite without realizing. No, that's fine. Maybe we should. I mean, how desperate are you? To be fair, that book might have information. Well, let's discuss the situation first, and then Hicks, are you fine with us discussing that after and figuring out what we think after?
Figuring out what? What are they? What do you mean? What are they discussing?
To discuss what the best option is to do with the curses if they do try and get the abjuration help, but they have to lie basically.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just nod.
Okay.
But he doesn't obviously look entirely convinced. But he's kind of agreeing with Yuri, but he's not 100% convinced. Especially because he also knows that the Conjuration Tower's councilman was supposed to be assassinated. So he's now even more like, of all the other councilmen, he's like,
Well, to be fair, there's no. Yuri's actually going to look up. Just checking. There's been no visitors with ravens or.
I mean, we have the rookery, but no visitors. I mean, we're necromancers. We got crows and ravens for days. But yeah, we have the rookery. But as far as I know, no. Anyone? Visitors? Nope. You're the first in I don't know, 6 months.
anyone mysteriously died in the last 6 months? Or before that?
Not mysteriously, no.
No, mysteriously.
We perform. Are you familiar with hospices? We perform that, and so sometimes people come here to be that are ready to pass on, and we perform those rites sometimes.
Well, nobody's just gone missing, per se.
Not that we know of, other than obviously within the last few days, several of the students that we often see that come here from the university, they have, but we imagine that they're hopefully escaped. Probably several of them have passed on, but yeah, nothing.
I did update them as well. Hicks, on the situation with the students we met.
You're gonna give like a little nod again.
Yeah, so wonderful. But yeah, what can we do for you? How can I help you in this situation? You seem very concerned about what's going on outside, which of course all of us are. Unfortunately, it's not really our focus here.
How easily startled are the group here?
You mean the staff and the not?
I mean, they seem fairly calm in this situation. Yeah. So okay, so I mean, Hicks, I think we might be best telling them what you found out before or do you want me to do mine first? Because they know about the Shadow Archive, so they clearly understand what it means for that thing.
Just to be honest, we know little bits of information about that. I would hearken to say we have a lot of information. We've been able to verify very little of it other than what we can hear from spirits when we talk to them in our communications. But I wouldn't say we're an expert or well versed in the place, but we're more familiar than, say, most wizards would be as far as your home, gesturing to Hicks, in the way that, we respect the place, we learn what we can, but we're not pushy. Otherwise, it's not for us to, if information is granted to us by happenstance on other research, great, we record it, but we mostly respect it as an arm's length. Based off of past experiences, not personal, but in what we can find.
Well,
I have no idea what you're talking about, but good. Keep your nose out of the other realms.
Certainly,
Well-
the only ones sometimes the astral plane a little bit, and otherwise just those. The only connection we have with other realms are those that have already passed to them when they speak with us.
Well, Hicks, you may be interested to learn that the Conjuration Tower has been hoarding the relics for themselves. The Necromancer Tower didn't even know about the dagger with necromancy on it, which might put certain things into perspective. Hicks.
He's gonna kind of like, you can see he's understood what Yuri said, but he's not like replying verbally per se.
Okay, I will talk about my thing first then. Well, Hicks,
He's just kind of like, he's putting it all together, and he's like, okay.
well, Hicks does the little maths lady gif. That is not an elemental storm.
Not an elemental storm. Okay, what kind of storm is it then?
Well,
Don't beat around the bush. Just tell them what it is.
well, it's not an easy thing to explain, even to a
It is
Fang. It's
the-
fucking complicated.
It is the bad. It is the bad, the sad sister of the titty.
Titty.
Of the titty
Of
queen.
the titty. That is an extension of the unseelie, the Queen of Air and Darkness.
Oh,
It is the practically dark goddess of air and darkness of the unseelie Fae, who is trying to reach something in this city. There is something in this city that is provoking such a powerful aura that it is alerting more than one plane, which could be drawing in from my understanding, it must be something so powerful that it has been witnessed through the other.
all right. So I don't know much about your plane, but if it's something, and they pull off their rubber gloves and put them in one of their pockets. Put them in one of their pockets on their apron, and they kind of scratch at their chin. It's the channeling, we think it's a weapon. We think it was always supposed to be a weapon that we found underneath this space. That's what you think is drawing the ire of very powerful creatures from other planes, right? From yours, at least.
What weapon?
It's a okay. But
I don't think any of us have been told about this.
No, the three of them haven't.
Yeah, so there's a and he goes.
He can explain it to us.
He gestures to
we
chairs.
Kind of all,
Yeah,
as players,
yeah.
we know what it is.
He gestures to chairs. He's going to give you a little bit more
channeling
information. So he explains the channeling device. That's happening. But he gestures to chairs because it's going to give you a bit more context. This isn't here. This series of 8 towers isn't here because we liked the hill and the views. This is a site of 8 structures that were basically worn down to the nub with time. But there was something important here, and there was a lot of arcane energy in the area, so it was a good spot for us to build our towers here. And then through excavation, which admittedly is partially our fault because we have several basements to ours, basement layers to ours. We found some tunnels that led to a device in the center of the towers. This is like a couple hundred years ago. It's taken us some time to discover exactly what was down there and for various wizards to study it. But it seems to be some sort of arcane engine, and it goes about explaining that it can channel the energy and stuff like that. And so within the last few years, this was discovered, and kind of discovered how to use it. But we don't have a way to really test it without using it to its full extent. So it's mostly been 3 years of bureaucratic arguing about what to do with this knowledge. Some of us think we should leave it alone. Some of us think we should destroy it. Some of us think we should dismantle it and separate it into pieces to protect it, but maybe have it for later if we need it. Some of us want to use it for bad things. It's of no real interest to me. But I could imagine if a different council person was in charge of the necromancy thing, they would come up with reasons to do it, to use it. But yeah.
Has anyone channeled magic into it? That would have started making it promote an aura.
Yes, absolutely they have. Nothing to
How
the amount that it would
recently?
need to be utilized significantly, but yes.
What is you're used to history. What is the magical origin of this item? Is it ancient elven? Is it ancient elven?
We feel like in based off of the age of the things around and the more importantly the decomposition of the things around, we feel like it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1500 to 2000 years old. It's multiple eras before this, and as far as we know, it was built to probably be some sort of either weapon or shield of some sort. Because it can take the magic, the strongest magic of the strongest casters, and it can hold it. And it's not like a normal enchantment where it holds like a very powerful spell or even multiple spells. It holds it as raw energy, and then it seems like we can affect it. And so, in order for us to channel as much energy as we can, we modified our towers to be able to pull from the casters here. We then cast into the towers then cast into the thing, and we suspect we know about the level of like pure raw magical power that it needs to be able to activate it in a way that uses the channeling device. But we then only have guesses on what we can do with it. It seems like we can modify and begin to address what the magic specifically does, but we've never gone that far in the testing for obvious reasons. It's incredibly dangerous.
As he tells us this, like Hicks is like visibly tenses a bit. And like
does
his
he actually?
hands kind of like fists like turn into more like fists as he hears this, but he doesn't say anything. Just kind of now realizes what was meant to be done.
And so my guess is, if I was making a guess based off of what I learned from the council person when they reached out to all of us finally, responded to all of us finally, is that their intent is to point it at the portal that's in the sky and try and seal it up.
That's going to be catastrophic. I have lived. Yuri seems he's trying to be careful, like it's very anxious talking about it. I have lived near a gateway my entire life that has opened and closed. I have traveled through gateways. If they fire concentrated energy through the other that imbalances, that could either, because they spoke of searing the rift. No, they didn't tell me that. I wasn't there for that. They could potentially burn a hole through the other, which would potentially give a permanently open gateway for demons, whatever, to pour through, the unseelie shadow creatures. But more so, if any energy like that fires through the other, you will be alerting not just the planes but gods, because that would be a potential risk to disturb the cycle of the planes.
That's if they even want to destroy this rift. They might want to open another one.
Well, that's the thing.
You don't know what their intentions are.
You would potentially, if you did gain their attention through such powerful magic, you would have some realms wanting to harness that for themselves, which, if the Unseelie Queen managed to put her energy into that weapon, she could potentially spread this entire world into permanent nightmare, darkness. I have seen what she can do. That is bad, but the point being is you would either have other planes coming to try and control it and gain it from themselves, or you would have planes like the plane of order, other planes side-eyeing Mr. Shadow Akai, coming to destroy it at any cost.
I can confidently say that from Councilperson Meredith's perspective, sealing the rift is the most important thing now. But I can also say the moment they do that, they will then put to task, can they open them? So I agree with you that this is a bad idea. And you'd think, as a necromancer, that I'd love a statement like "cover the world in darkness" because we're all very spooky. But in fact, I do not want that.
Without light, darkness is monotony. You need
it also means everything dies, and then there's no cycle. And then what are we here for? Simply put,
You say you trust your councilman Meredith to want to close the rift.
Yeah, I do
I
believe
can tell
that she
you
does.
now that is not true. He does not want to close it.
Why not?
Because he looks like he doesn't really want to say what happened.
I think you're just not.
A Shadorkai assassin, or rather a thrall, was sent to assassinate Meredith. If my queen wants him dead, then you know what he's told you is a lie.
Is the Queen of the Shadowfell an agent of peace?
An agent of order.
All right. Well, I can only make guesses, but do you have an alternative on how to seal the rift?
I might.
I'm all ears.
Well, the Seelie Queen can sense something here. If there's one thing I know about Fae, Unseelie or Seelie, we get bored very quickly. Really quickly. Which is really bad because we're exceedingly immortal, so you know.
Yeah.
There's a reason we play a lot of pranks. Anyhow, if she could no longer sense what she was wanted, she would get bored and move on. It's not so much needing to seal the rift.
Oh, get rid of the thing that the rift was made to get.
Yeah, because she will be expending her energy to have this rift open. As soon as she doesn't have a reason to expend her energy, she will move on. But my people, not my people, they're saying that, not me. What's the word? She could try eternally, and also if that fires directly into the Feywild portals, kind of somewhat, unless you're a Fey, which doesn't really affect energy. When you go through a Fey portal, it comes out randomly.
Well, that seems complicating. Okay, so what you're saying is that the simple answer to this, it seems to be the simple answer to this.
Don't shoot the thing.
Is don't shoot the thing and maybe get rid of the thing. And then they'll go away?
If this is an underground pathway, would you be able to get us into that underground?
I absolutely can get you straight from
Is it through the crypts?
this tower.
Is it through the crypts?
But we do have to go down through the basement levels. You seem fine with this. It's more uncomfortable for a lot of people down there, but I promise you, nothing down there has any ill intent. Nothing that I know is down there. Let's be accurate. Has any ill intent on harming anyone from this tower or any random people, as long as you don't do anything to disrespect them.
You also need to work on getting Councilman Meredith under your control. Because he will cause devastation if he is not killed.
I mean, control won't be needed if we can destroy it. Just delaying her or being quite annoying might do it. If you need all of 8 towers to
and you don't think he will look for another way?
No, but I'm saying you could distract them without controlling them. You could be a thorn in their side. That's what I mean.
I will address this. I mean, I know it's not a lot of time for you two. Gesturing to Hicks and Yuri. No, it's not a lot of time for you two. But from my perspective, we've been arguing about this for 3 years straight. There was never until this rift came up, this was not even close to a conversation of testing, like fully testing it, much less using it. We all very much disagree on that. But I will keep an eye on them, and if they become a problem, perhaps I can work with some of the other counselors to prevent that from becoming a problem. I'm not going to kill them. That's not...
Yeah, no, of course.
my choice. I mean, but that's not how I choose to do business.
Could be the better choice.
But yes, I know you're from that realm. That's your prerogative. Weirdly enough, as necromancers, we have a deep respect for living things until they're no longer going to be living. It's their choice, not ours. But
you know, when this is all over, I'd love to discuss a lot of things with you.
I would be happy to have you. But yes, we will go down into the crypts. We will then go. It's a bit of a slog of a journey. We probably should make haste. I am concerned that if they engage other counselors, this may not be a conversation of like, well, let's see what happens. And there are other people that are a bit more hands-on than Councilperson Meredith. Colby is political, if nothing else. Other council people are a little bit more direct.
I've spoken to Stone, by the way. So before we change topic. Hicks needs to say this. I spoke to Stone, and she is going to bring Nhudrel out the tower. Well, tell him to come out the tower. I also told her to relate to the Councilman Meredith that I wanted to speak to some of the other councilmen outside of the tower. How long that will take, I don't know.
They will absolutely not fulfill that request for you.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now that if they could have, they would have done this without any of us knowing until it was time to pull the trigger on the channeling device.
Well, then what about our other friend who's stuck in their tower?
That, I don't know.
Would you be able to help get him here? Or at least maybe send him a message to tell him how to get to the
somebody here has ascending something, right? Somebody here has ascending something, and a bunch of the regular administrators kind of like look around, and then someone goes through like this old desk and everything, and they pull out this like shrunken head, a shrunken head with these gems replaced in its eyes. And they're like this, and they bring it by its hair to the councilman, and Myron looks at it and is like, "Yes, this will do. What's your friend's name?
Nhudrel.
Nhudrel.
Nhudrel. Do you want to tell them? Do you want to speak to them directly? And they just face the head at Hicks. It's just staring with its gem eyes blankly at you.
I'll do it.
Oh, you okay? Just give it a good poke in the eyes. That's how we act. It's fun.
Oh.
They're little gems,
Yeah.
so they're hard.
You're like, thank you. You just
You can feel the sending spell going off. You should be able to communicate with Yuri. You're on the same, or Nhudrel. You're on the same plane.
Hi, Nhudrel.
Hello.
Oh God! I thought sending was like 21 words, and then can they even reply?
Maybe this is a telepathy thing. I might have missed you, sir.
Okay.
This is basically you can communicate by mind with Nhudrel freely right now.
Okay. Hi, Nhudrel. Hope you're well.
Follow it on everything.
Yeah. Also,
Okay.
I've had the talk with Fang. Explained that situation a
Birds
little
and the
bit.
bees.
Yeah, the birds and the abusive bees. We talk about getting stung. Come to the necromancy tower, or at least go outside for some air, and then a skeleton will find you and escort you. They're lovely, and they like tomatoes.
Nhudrel's like stammers a little bit and goes, okay.
I would say you could go out the toilet window, but I don't think she's might.
Boarded up.
Oh my God!
No, it's not. All right, I'll make an effort to do this. I have some information for you as well, but
Good.
I can tell it to you personally.
Okay.
The the council person is very cross at this point.
Oh no.
As a warning. Now, this is one of the most important roles, and this will probably be the wrap of our session. Can you please give me a roll, and you can decide amongst the three of you who rolls this. It's a d20, and it's a pure luck check on how hard it will be for Nhudrel to extricate themselves from the conjuration.
Go on, Fang.
Go on, yeah, Fang, it's your buddy.
Oh boy.
It's
It's
gonna
not
be really
hard at all.
He's never
Yeah, it's
leaving
really-
the tower.
That was really easy. That was a good nat one. It's a good nat one.
Was that a nat one?
Mhm.
Yep.
Very
He's
easy
never
nat
leaving
one.
the tower. He
And
is
so
not
with
the
that-
one
It's
Meredith
not hard
bitch.
at all.
With that natural one, we will leave off here for this session. To see Nhudrel. You now have a path to possibly disabling this thing, dealing with the rift, and a friendly necromancer buddy. Friendly necromancer buddy to help you. We now just need to worry about getting Nhudrel to where you're at without there being several complications. But until then, we will reconvene this session next week. I want to thank the players. I'm doing this for the VOD. You can find us here Tuesday afternoons, 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock other European and South African times. Reia's in a time zone that's orbiting the moon, so we don't know what time it is where Reia is. But nonetheless, until then, we will see what the spooky crew does to help our wonderful squad try to possibly prevent the most dangerous thing from being utilized by a bunch of power hungry, or at least a mix of power hungry mages and wizards next time on Healing Rift. Thank you so much. Thank you all for playing. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.